Alright, let's do this shit. First order of business. We are going to... Whoa! Yep, that email. I feel like the emails are coming faster. We must get some kind of priority thing. First order of business. That's going to... Let's just get rid of that. There we go. Alright, let's get some mic dies up in here. Fix some bugs. So last time we had 0 followers, and because it put everyone in previous followers, I think it got disconnected and just decided, fuck it, just gonna put everyone in previous followers. So now let's turn, oh, we're gonna go black for a second there, not a big deal. And alright, so now we should get shout outs for everybody that has, theoretically, for everyone who has subscribed since we last streamed. I should get actual sounds this time, with any luck. There we go. So Litho Light, thanks for following. Let me turn the Unity editor up a little bit. So we are going to be doing some sound design. It's got my temp text in there too. Hopefully that works. And Krizo, is that Krizo? It's a good name. So let's see. I'm a little worried that our text is not going to work, because I think it's supposed to, I think there were 16 lines that I did as a test. Test chats. Let's see. Oh yeah, and it's supposed to say connecting, and it doesn't. Great. So chat is just never going to work. It works in the Unity editor. It is just never going to work in the standalone application. So I don't know. I just don't know. That's really annoying. It worked for like a hot minute. And in fact, I'm a little too annoyed by this. So let's just open the project real quick. And this is the thing that I just built. And if I... Whoa. Why is that there? The hell? I don't even know what's going on. That's not right. Oh, it's probably in the... Okay. It went to the logo screen. Okay, so right now in the Unity editor... Get out of here, cat. In the Unity editor, let's go to our Unities. Here's the same exact scene that I'm working with, and if we go and we turn off follow or notify, and I only do chat, and we're gonna maximize this so that we really see what's going on. See, it says, see line 16 is down there, it says connecting, and then if I do our test chats again, test chats, we actually get it in our screen right here. There it is. Oh, you can't see it. Shit. Okay. Bear with me. Okay, so that's not awesome either. But if I maximize and do this, I remove mic dies, you can see there it is. It's right there. It works. This is the exact thing that I just built, and for some reason right here in our standalone application it is not working. I really don't know. I don't know why it hates me so much. But that's just how life goes. So we'll still get, we're going to get follower notifications, but apparently not any chats, which is super annoying. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to just rebuild it real quick and remove the chat, because it's just not working anyway. So why even bother? Actually, so here's what I'll do, because I want to make this a little flexible. I'm just gonna add a button to toggle it. And so let's just do that right now. So let's go into our codes. We're gonna go into mic dies, and I'm gonna say, let's I always like to be able to configure this stuff. So let's go with public key code chat toggle. Okay. And then what I can do is, in our update here, it doesn't matter if we're connected or not. I can just say if input dot get key down, and I say chat toggle. Let's see, let's say chat text dot enabled. Okay. Equals chat text dot enabled. So it should be that easy in theory. So we go back over to Unity, and here's our thingy. We're not going to maximize this time because we don't really care. Turn off follower notify. We're going to connect. Oh, I didn't set a key command because I'm an idiot. Oh, and I also didn't make it public, so that's why I don't see it here. Make your variables public. No, I did. So why doesn't it show up? Mic dies. Oh no. Because I have to edit the stupid editor script as well. That's the worst. Twitch chat editor, here we go. Okay, so I can say my target dot chat toggle. Chat toggle equals editor GUI layout key. What is the it's a drop down, but I don't know if there's a specific type of drop down that it really needs to be, because it's supposed to contain all of the normal keyboard commands. Can I just draw a default inspector? Yeah. Let's just do that. Oh, god damn it. Cancel. Let's check this out of our source control. Always a good idea. So it should just draw everything twice. Yeah, which is unfortunate, but oh boy. Yeah, how do we get around that? Well, F. I'll have to find out what it is later, but let's just say for now it's escape. And now we play. Oh no. Alright, so just to show you what's going on here. So now when I hit play, it's going to connect and do everything just fine. But when I hit escape, it turns off the actual text itself, but it leaves the box there. So we're actually going to need to disable the parent, which is super easy to do. So it's not a huge deal. Let's see. So back to our script and back to mic dies. So when we hit this, what we're going to need to do is, instead of our chat text, what we need to do is find the transform.parent. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Game object dot enabled or set active chat text dot chat text dot transform dot parent dot game object active in hierarchy, and set it to the opposite of that. Okay, so now when we go back over to Unity, in theory, we're going to be able to toggle this, the whole thing. There we go. I would love to just find out why it's not working and fix that, but that is kind of a bigger task than we super have time for tonight because we have other things to do. But let's go ahead and remove this temp text at least, because nobody needs that. Okay, and then we are going to unfortunately shut down mic dies briefly so that I can rebuild it. Build settings, and then we're going to build over the same thing that we've been building over. And who knows, maybe maybe it'll just magically work this time. You know? Like who even knows? Let's see. Yeah, mic dies is enabled, follower notify is enabled. It's supposed to connect on start. It's supposed to do exactly what it's doing right now. So let's find out if it does that. So we're going to go to a black screen briefly, and then play it. Oh, we did get the connecting message. Interesting. So I guess maybe it noticed that I threatened to shut it off, and it wised up. So as a test, let's do a little mic dies. There we go. Alright, so it totally works now, because reasons. Who knows? And so yeah, we've already done our follower shoutouts there, so I think we're actually good. We're actually not screwed anymore. Everything's fine. As long as it stays connected, we should be good. Alright, let's close this down. We're going to open back up our real game. And then, in turn, we are going to open up this one. We're going to close this solution and open up the For Reals games. Okay, so we left off, I think I actually did this off stream because it was a little quick thing. We left off changing the pitch on the drop platforms. So I will show you how the drop platforms look right now, and then we can move on from there. Let's see. Here's my beautiful testing area. There we go. Beautiful testing area. And here is our. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay, here's our drop platform. And here's our angel statue. Did I leave we have a trigger over there. We'll just leave that be. So one of the things that we're going to be doing in the sound design part of this, once I do these little code fixes, or updates, not really bug fix or anything like that. We are going to make a sound. God damn it! Just go away for now. Just please. You're annoying me. Okay. We're actually going to make a sound or several sounds for this drop platform because we need sounds, and I'll just show it to you so you can see what's going on here. We need sounds for every level of this platform going down, because right now what I'm doing is I have a temporary sound in that is meant for a completely different purpose, and I am playing it 7 times as these lights go down, and just pitch shifting it, and it sounds appropriately bad, and so we're going to fix that in the sound design part of this. So yeah, it's pretty quiet, so let me just raise it up a bit. Hopefully that's not too loud. And also, let's really quick just turn, just so you can actually hear the different levels here, and you'll hear why it needs to be fixed so badly. So here is, you'll hear the descending as the lights turn off, and then the ascending as the lights turn back on. And then when it gets full again. And so the idea here is that when the lights go all the way down and you can see the platform gets a little like semi-transparent, that's when you can fall through it. And then you hear the little notification as it starts to charge back up again, and then it becomes a solid platform. So if I jumped on it like this, I fall through it, and then it comes back. And I hit my head on it. And so you can tell that that sound was not really supposed to be doing that. Because it is only one sound and I'm pitch shifting it, which is like not the best way to do it. What I'd ideally like to do, and what I'm going to try to do, is just make 7 sounds that actually sound good together, so I don't have to have one sound, and just pitch shift it. Let's see. It's covering out the property. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, I have it here because I want to have chat on screen, and there's not like a super awesome place for it. And when I had this window be transparent, then the text was really hard to read. And so I can, if you'd like, what I can do is, since we just added the toggle, I can just turn it off for now, and then maybe when, yeah, that's actually a good idea. That's actually a really good idea. I'm gonna write that down right now. So what we're gonna do with this, probably next stream. I don't think that I'll have time for it tonight, but who knows? Who knows where the night will take us? What I can do is basically have a timeout for the chat. So Twitch, let's see. So we're gonna have a toggle for the chat, toggle timeout, and then I'm gonna explain to myself what that means. After X number of seconds, remove chat window from screen until new message arrives. So that's actually perfect. That's like not even that difficult to do. There's my email notification that I just had a task assigned to me. Okay, GDC, putting it in GDC just because I probably will get to it this week, and decent chance of getting to it tonight. So yeah, we're gonna do that because I really do want to have chat on screen as much as possible. But if it's just like a message that's been there forever, and so yeah, we can turn it off in that case. Automotos. Oh man, actually, I was just talking to AJ about that today. This demo right here is for Alex to bring to GDC, and he is unfortunately not here tonight, but maybe if you ask him really nicely, we can do a little bit of sharing for it. I think that I'm sure he doesn't want to like go super like public with it and just have it for anyone to download, but But I really do want to get like, some playtesting on it, and so we'll see. I definitely do want to get it into more people's hands. We want more people to play it, and especially like people. What we actually need now, and what we're doing for like certain people that like we know, and usually people that like live near us and can come to our houses and actually play it, is getting people who have never played the game before, because once because the beginner stuff is really important, and so it's really important to constantly playtest your game with people who have never played it before. And so yeah, it's kind of it is a thing that I'm hoping will happen more and more. But yes, I would absolutely love to do that. Somebody is okay. Chris is here now. Let's see. I'm just gonna call the group and remove the people who I know are not around right now. Let's remove Kyle. We can remove
Yo.
Alex. What's going on?
What's up, man? I see you all up on the interwebs.
Yeah, you're a little quiet on my end right here. See if I can
Weird.
fix that.
Shove me in loud.
All right, you are maxed out, so we'll see how that goes.
Nice. AJ's with us via, I don't know, cell phone or some shit.
Is he?
No, I think it's calling me.
No, he's typing through Twitch. He's just killed Mike.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I missed it. Oh,
Right.
he playing D&D. Oh, that's right. He said it's like different every night.
Yeah. I love Unstable. That's my jam.
So yeah, so there's our
It's only a matter of time for him to
Swift Rage. Oh, so I think we're okay. So yeah, fucking shit. Okay, so I'm gonna have to write this bug up now, and good thing I added the toggle for this Twitch chat, because what's happening now is we're running into our second bug that I totally forgot about until right now, where we're not like, after a certain point, once we get to like our limit of 15 lines of text, it's not like correcting it and removing the last couple of things.
I don't even see that last comment unless I was too late to jump in.
Well, no, exactly. Like it doesn't exist anymore.
Ah, I see.
Because the text is not updating properly for it, so that's annoying.
There's our demo. Riot. Soon-ish.
Swift Rage. Yeah. Well, so yeah, we'll have to see like what's going on with it, because I definitely want to, share it and shit. But I'm sure that Alex and Kyle have some kind of like, well, for marketing reasons, we should do this, and I'm gonna have to be like, yeah, you're probably right.
True.
But fuck you anyway.
Yep. Is it safe to update, or you got to do anything real quick, Mike? Can I get in the JITIS demo?
Yeah, I'm not doing anything in the scene itself. In fact, I'm not even working in that scene. I'm working in a different scene.
All right, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get you down
Get it.
Fuck. I'm check the coals. Right back.
Okay. Let's check this shit out of the thing. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna write that bug up real quick, because god damn it. Twitch bug chat update fail, and that's gonna go in GDC as well. Chat doesn't update after 15 lines. Regex. I'm gonna guess it's a regex fail. Let's
Fuck.
see what's happening.
Did you do a side?
Huh?
Did you do a side?
They were just on for a really long time. They got pretty good on both sides already, though. So, okay.
Okay. Alright, so here's a platform, and alright, so we're gonna fix that later. We're gonna fix the sound part of that later. Now I need to remind myself. There's the email. I got a task. Yeah, I need vinyl placemat on here.
Yep.
Actually, I wonder if I have it, and I'm just not using it at the moment.
I'm sure you have it somewhere on your phone.
Probably do. I'm gonna check my ringtones real quick. Let's see, notifications.
Joe Kelly, I might have to pledge to a Kickstarter.
I don't even know you anymore.
It's for a Toe Jam and Earl sequel. It's going pretty good. I'll wait it out.
Ooh, you know what I do have?
Nice.
Got that.
That is amazing.
Do you think anyone goes like Kickstarter or just window shops?
What, just looks around and shit?
Little things. See what they.
Yeah, I don't.
Just to go on, just look for the worst ones.
I do not have vinyl placemat on here.
Wow.
So that I have to fix that. Gotta fix that.
Yeah,
That's unacceptable.
it is.
Okay, so let's see. Puppy, what's up? What's up? What's up? I know.
Dog?
I know.
Angel dog? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
I want to see that dog.
See the angel dog. Make sure I don't break anything.
Including the dog.
Yeah, don't want to break the dog. T, what's up? What's up?
Was that the dog?
No, that was me. What's up, baby dog?
Ah, you're such cute puppy. I love that dog. Look at that. If you want to see another picture, boom. That's Tegan. And that's Sans Serif.
Isn't there a band called Tegan and Sarah?
Yeah.
Yes, Tegan is in fact named after Tegan Quinn of Tegan and Sarah.
Mm-hmm. I like this dog a lot.
All right.
Share my screen. Share the goods.
Sharing the goods?
Yep. Although I'm just setting up right now, so check it out. Check it. I want to see if I might need another verbal thrashing from you on how to fucking compare folders. There's one thing I edited. I tried to edit the one thing. I don't know if it worked or not. It was that sky background. I knew it was fucked.
Oh yeah, I feel hasn't that been like plaguing us for a while?
No, well, this was a brand new one because I was like, I had one in there, but it had like splashes of purple and it didn't tile well because what I did was I tiled the material, but it stayed like on the material itself regardless of the shape object you put it on. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to put it on multiple quads. It's going to lead to more quads, but it would be the same as a super tiled texture anyway. So still, well, at least I think. I don't know. What up?
What's up, Mountain Peak? What's going on?
Fucking lost here. Here we go.
For some reason, I guess because you have Peak in the name, reminded me of Chris. I don't know if you've heard of this. There is a Twitter bot dedicated to correcting people incorrectly using the term sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
So if you say like, "Oh, we're going to give you a sneak peek of this thing," but you type peak P-E-A-K like a mountain peak.
Yeah.
There's a Twitter bot that will like reply to you and correct you, and it says like, "I think you mean sneak peek, P-E-E-K."
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
And the name of the Twitter is Stealth Mountain.
Nice.
It's amazing. So it reminded me, Mountain Peak reminded me of that.
Very awesome. Yeah, look at that shit. It's fucking not there.
What's not there?
The fucking sky texture. Oh, thanks, bye.
Let's see if Mike Dies real quick. Yeah, so Mike Dies is still not. Chat is still not updating. Okay, so what is your boggle with stuff?
This fucking I gotta check this material again because last time it showed up, but it was black. Let's see. Oh yeah, put my assets over here because it's like. Do you know? Is there a shortcut in there to full screen a window just while you're like? Well, I guess there would be. You gotta have your shit up all the time. Like a working window, you could full screen.
Just like a quick toggle of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that there's a key command for it. There's a little like drop down in the top right that you can do maximize. So maybe that might be what you're looking for. The top, yeah, just that little like the little button right above there. Yeah.
Ah.
You can do that.
That's all I need.
Okay. Let's see.
The fucking texture is completely gone. What the? And it's still fucking weirdly tiled. Alright, so if I'm gonna edit, because I still have the texture in here, I want to just fucking pop this down, take this shit, and put it back to 1:1.
Sketch something.
There we go. Alright. So I just want to fix this shit right now.
Alright, so what is the thing that needs to be happening?
I just didn't, I'm gonna save. I want to say this is gonna be the last time, but it's not gonna be the last time. So assets, compare. This is default, right? The next. Okay. Okay. It's gonna come up with that material definitely. And this came up yesterday, but this is AJ shit, so I don't want to fuck with it.
Well, according to this, that stuff is not on the server, so I don't know how it could be AJ's.
It's 100% is, because this is how he names his shit.
Well, then in that case, he must have moved it or something, or deleted it.
This is probably the shit that's not showing up. Perspective wall is probably that missing piece that came up scaled.
Well,
So-
no, because this is what you're seeing right there is stuff that is on your computer that is not on the server. So it's not like it's a thing that you have, so you should be seeing everything like that. But because it's Dean, get the fuck out of here! I hate you. But so it's safe to delete because if you did not make it, then AJ probably added it to the server and removed it or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because those are your local files. So just delete local files and then you're done with that.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Oh, okay. This was away for a second. I'm like, holy
yeah, it has to recalculate everything.
Okay. So, I'm gonna right click. I wanna fucking reconcile this shit.
Yeah.
What do I have to do here? Because this is what I did wrong yesterday.
What do you normally do here?
I just hit OK.
Yeah, that's what AJ does, and that's why I've yelled at him so many times.
This is just the thing I need to... I'm gonna write it down right the fuck now. So what do I have to change on here?
And that's why I linked my blog post, because I have a reference to this.
Where... Let me get that too, so I can fucking favorite that shit. One more time.
Let's see. So he says, once again...
Hey, it's our good friend. Good friend Falson.
Is he chatting away? Oh yeah, he's doing mic test. Okay, so here is that. For the last time ever.
Oh, you Skyped it to me. I was like looking.
Yeah, I can also. I was also. If anyone else is curious, I'll just put it in chat as well.
Hey.
So the end of that post is about this very thing that we're doing right now, which is comparing. So what you have to do here is the last drop down there, where it says files that do not have pending changes. What you do is you check out for edit. So
Oh,
so when you do the compare, it says like so it'll provide you with some options. It will not, by default, however, open for edit any files you have changed but didn't already check out. This may be a good thing, blah, blah, blah. You may want to change that setting to check out all the files you have edited. So that is the part that you need to do. So the last drop down, you do check out.
Okay. Cool.
I'm missing the Mike Dies stuff.
Unchange or check out, prevent others from. No.
You can do unchange. It doesn't, like, yeah, because it's not. We don't lock files in general, but
Yeah.
you can if you want.
Don't need to lock that.
So
Awesome.
yeah, that's all good now.
I don't have to check back in, or do you think it's good now?
Well, so checking in is submitting it to the server. So right now you have it edited and all that stuff, but to actually submit it, you need to check in.
Alright, I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to recheck out the JITIS build. Cool, thank you.
Massey, when is sound design? Sound design is right after I do these couple of things, these couple of code tasks. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm going to make our intro screen, and so we're going to have a logo screen and then like an intro thing like we have actually had for our previous demo. So it shouldn't take me super long as I don't get too distracted. ETA, let's go with half an hour if I can focus and get shit done. 45 minutes to an hour if not. So we'll see.
You're doing sound stuff today?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we actually do need sound in the demo. So, and I put it off all the time because I do code stuff mostly, but we got to get it done at some point.
Gotta do it.
Got to do it. Okay, so all right, so let's see. All right, so let's get this shit done then. What we're gonna do is no, if I do that, it's just gonna fuck it up. Okay. Fuck it, I'm just gonna have to pop this out.
How's this shit working too? Like, is it any kind of folder that's called free prefabs? If you drop something in there, it makes like a instance prefab?
The folder doesn't have to be called prefab. It doesn't fucking matter what the folder's called. Because if you drag anything from your hierarchy into anywhere in your assets folder, it becomes a prefab.
I see.
Alright, so scenes. Alright, so the first scene we're going to be editing is our logo scene. And I didn't tell anybody about this, but I grabbed one of our new logos that Mary made and
Ooh,
put it in there.
Badass.
Because we have our old Dark Scavenger one, but the ones that Mary did were more like sci-fi and fitting for this game. So we're gonna do that. So I gotta check out. Let's see, logo. I'm gonna check that out. And title, which I think basically serves as our like instruction screen, and it's the screen that like is the intro. Nice. Phonic 88 back with the epic Mike Dies chat log. Alright, so let's see. Let's bring up our unites. So our logo
Fucking shit.
is it in the past. Whoa, we're all in 2D and shit. Okay. So in the past, our logo has looked a little something like this, maybe? Okay, so yeah. So this is the logo from Dark Scavenger. And then what happens here? Oh no, did I have it? Please do not load Sector 1. Okay, good. I think it just stopped. It didn't load anything. Let's get this shit done. Yeah, I feel like every time I make a comment that is like semi-serious, but I throw shit in there, it's always like something that people point out. Like when I was talking about starting out in game development, I was like, get excited about stupid shit, which I think is legitimate advice. I think you need to, every little small thing that you make, especially in programming, you need to get excited about that and not be like, oh well, I wish I made an MMO my first time around. But I stand by that. Get excited about stupid shit. Okay, so here is our logo. Wow. Okay, so it's a GUI texture.
It's called unique.
So yeah, actually, we're gonna have to do this like a totally different way, I guess. Because I really don't feel like, well, if I can just update the actual logo. All right, so I'm just gonna do a quick texture swap. Let's see what happens. See if we get our new logo. Oh, okay, we did, but it's stretched as fuck. Let's fix that. How do we fix that though? Oh, advanced level is not checked. That's why it doesn't do that. Good. Oh, because it's a GUI texture. Alright, well then let's go ahead and look into our logo screen script, because we're probably going to have to do some serious edits to that. Because it's old as shit. Is it in here? Yeah, logo screen. This is old stuff right here. It's so old that I've never opened this in Visual Studio before. That's how old this is. So instead of GUI texture, we're actually going to have to do a different one. So let's find out what we're going to do. So we can get rid of GUI texture, and let's just remove that. Let's add UI and image. Actually, but we're gonna have to actually add like a legit UI canvas. And then, so there we go. Here's our canvas. It's ginormous. Now let's create our UI and image. So here's our image. Our image here's gonna be... No? Really? No, not... Shit. Come on, man. Don't be a jerk. Logo? Oh, it has to be a sprite? Wait, that can't be right.
For a GUI?
Yeah, that's not right. Material... Do you want to preserve aspect? So I guess I'll just convert this into a sprite then. I feel like I shouldn't have to, but it's being weird. It's being real weird. Let's see. So if we go to textures and global, God, I'm waiting until after the GDC build is done, but holy God, we need to
nuke this whole fucking thing.
My thoughts exactly.
And we really need these prefabs that we at least have to remake these prefabs with. I don't care if we remake them when they're parented, but the way these were done, none of them scale correctly. And it's like, I don't mind scaling shit, but I like to see the object before I fucking bring it in.
Hmm.
The downside to making these prefabs to our scale is that it's scaling a scaled object on a scaled game object that's fucking scaled to the general group that these fucking things are in. So it's being scaled 3 times besides its import options.
Yeah.
So I honestly like to make them unparented at 0, just in a blank scene, and make the prefabs that way. But I don't know. But even then, like, to my objects come in super small in these because they're, I don't exactly know why. Mainly because these groups, the fucking groups for the levels are so small. I don't know. 'Cause these things come in non-existent. There's a ton of props that are just scaled to. I think there's one object that's scaled to 0. It's
Yeah.
literally
Well, so
invisible.
the problem is that we have our levels scaled down. The root object of a level is scaled down to 0.03.
Yeah,
And in hindsight, I really wish we hadn't have done that.
I agree.
But we deal. Okay, so right now, if we do this, we should see this Psydra logo. Okay. So I mean, it's scaled like fucking hell, but where's the center? There's that center, and there we go. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know why this scene is taking so long. There we go. Looks better. Actually, it's black. I just made it black. That was really dumb, because now you're not going to be able to see it at all. I guess we have to just make it blue and see what that looks like. Should probably just make it gray or something. I don't know. But blue looks kind of cool. We'll keep it blue for now, and we can change it very quickly whenever. So the idea behind this was that you have this Psydra logo, and then as you can see, in this little corner here, you kind of see this asteroid, which falls down and then rolls off into the night. And so I might add a little sound for that, because I already have them. Like, I already have some rolling sounds and some impact sounds. But like, I think that's pretty much it for now. So what I need to do is add this logo screen script, and it's going to fade speed, logo time. So it should be up there for 2 seconds, and it fades in. Unfortunately, 0.1. This is before I had to convert things to seconds, and I just lazily said, okay, well, crank the alpha up by 0.1 every frame, I guess. Which is fine. Like, mathematically, it makes sense, but it's not a thing that especially designers want to. It's not the way they want to interact with it. Not the way they want to set it. They want to be like, hey, I want this to fade in over the course of half a second, and then you have to actually do the math for that. That's the better way to do it. But we're not going to do that right now, because we don't have to, because I'm the one setting this. So let's change our script now. So what we know that we're using this image, and it's I believe it's under UI image. So let's go to that real quick, and I actually have to say using Unity Engine .ui. Otherwise, I won't get those UI classes in here. So instead of GUI texture, we're going to make this image, and unity.ui to image. There we go. And say logo image. I think I have to make it public, right? No, actually, I don't. Whoops, I was removing the wrong part. So then when I say instead of here, we're going to say logo image equals get component image. If logo image, I guess I didn't do anything in that case. Logo image. Why are you being a shit? Logo image dot color, not collider. That's completely wrong. Logo image dot color equals to color. Okay. So that's how we started this coroutine back when coroutines weren't a nightmare. Logo, what am I doing here? Logo text, so I do logo image dot color and logo image dot color. And that looks fine now. Oh, so the fade, what the fade speed is it's even worse than I thought. The fade speed is actually the amount of time that you wait every frame, like every time, every iteration of this, which is pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb. I wrote this like probably somewhere between a year and a half to 2 years ago, so I did things in stupid ways, and now hopefully I do things in less stupid ways. So this should now work. There we go, fades in, and then fades out. Sweet. Okay, so we do advanced level. Well, let's not do that just yet.
Check that.
So there's our thingy. So now we're going to go real quick into the title, which, oh good lord, is this because you can do that now? So here's a bunch of stuff. Oh, by the way, we have now officially decided to stop using teleportal entirely. And
The name's done.
the name is done. We're not using it. But we also don't, because we don't have a replacement name, because we are having trouble letting go of the name teleportal and the pieces of it that we keep trying to repurpose. We have just decided to say to just call it under a code name that we know we're going to get rid of, which is Mike Dies. So I am now just putting in here Project Mike Dies.
True that.
So yeah. Okay, this shows you just how old this shit is. This actually says, win objective, get fully within the purple teleportal space on the 4th beat of the music to complete
Oh my
each
god.
stage.
Yeah, that's fucking old.
Yep.
It's very old.
So let's see. Why do I have 2? I have directions 1 and directions 2. Oh god, it's like, it's in 2 pieces. Each line is a single piece. That's horrible. So back in the day, I'm pretty sure the reason for this is that back in the day, you couldn't put a new line in these GUI text things. It was awful. UI in Unity used to be one of like the worst fucking things in my entire life. I guess we're keeping these controls on here. I don't really know. Let's see, where is... Okay, so it is that.
Let's see.
So let's see, it's 0.6, that's further 5. This is 4.0, which is just 4, and then this is 3.5. That looks like garbage, but Shit, no, I meant 3, 4. Let's put this at 4, 6. Looks a little bit better. Okay. So, we have a demo. I must have, where's the actual script here? Title screen. Let's see what's in our title screen script that I also wrote forever ago and is probably terrible. Title screen, that's all it is. If you hit the reset button, which I don't even remember what the reset... Oh, that's enter. Okay, so maybe that's why. So hit enter, then do this. You can hit escape there. And so I guess what we're going to have to do then is we're going to have to... when you end the demo, you should hit enter to... I'll have to put this on the... There's a demo end script now. So when you get to the end of the demo, it'll fade out. It'll probably just say like Project Mike dies or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. But then it should go back to... when you hit enter, it will go back to probably this screen. It won't do our logo screen, but it'll do our title screen with the instructions. Okay, so that looks good. And I think that's... Yeah, like that's really all there is to it. So you can hit escape, it closes you out, you can hit reset, you can hit enter, which is the reset button, and that will move you on forward. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. We don't need a start function here at all. Just gonna clean up these old ugly scripts. There we go. So that's pretty much it then. So let's look at our, let's see, your intro, title screen. Do I have any notes that I should be doing more shit? Yeah. So I may put sound in there, but we'll see. We shall see. But I think that we're good on this stuff. So now, the only thing I want to do, the only thing I kind of want to look into now is just making sure that we get the demo end thing. So let's look at the demo end script real quick. I should have put it in UI, I guess. This is really dumb. Demo end. Where are you? This is in alphabetical order. I should really be able to find it. Okay, here we go. So this is all a bunch of... This is kind of the same garbage. As you can see, this one has a actual second value, so it's not horrible to use. And... So it has activated... so I guess that once, so here's what we'll do. We'll keep a boolean for has ended. It's going to start off false, and then once we get our fade color all the way to 1, which is to say the screen is completely blacked out, at that point we're going to change our has ended to true, and then in our update, if has ended, then in that case what we're going to do is say application.loadLevel, or wait, sorry, I skipped a step. If input.getKeyDown, I meant button, get button down, reset. Then what we're gonna do is application.loadLevel, application.loadedLevel -1. So basically what that's going to do is say whatever the last scene, like when you build in Unity you have a list of scenes, and so there's like 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And so so we're going to have our logo screen, which is going to be scene 0. We're we're going to have the title screen with the instructions, which is going to be scene 1. And then we're going to have our the actual game, which is going to be scene 2. And so when we get to the end of the demo, what we want to do is then go back to scene 1. And since we know that we're going to be in scene 2, we just back up 1 basically. And I can actually test this in theory. If I go into my test scene, testing area, yeah, I want to save that. So go to my testing area. Here is all of my shit, and then I'm going to change my build settings. Did I pop out my scene window? I did. That was dumb. There we go. Go to my build settings. So I have Sector 1 and Sector 2 in my build settings, which let's get rid of that. Really should be a thing to... Okay, so we have that in 1. Let's go with title. Yeah, save it. Okay, so build settings again. Unfortunately, this doesn't show up, but you'll just have to trust me that I am putting the title screen and then the testing area into my build settings. I'll take my word for it. Promise that's what I'm doing. So now, if I go here and then I grab my trigger that actually triggers the demo end to happen, fade out. The fade out object has the demo end script, so it's going to fade speed 10. Okay, so yeah. Okay, let's just go with this. So we're gonna get our, so once we walk into this trigger, we will see the screen go black over the course of 10 seconds, in theory, except I turned off the canvas, and so now you can see it go black. Now when I hit enter, we should go back to our scene thing, in theory. There we go. Beautiful. So we know that works now.
I love these pieces.
What was that?
Nah, I love when he does. I have a request for when you are done your current thing. Maybe if I could put you off on sound design for one more.
Oh my god, Massey's
hours.
gonna be so mad at you.
This is a good feature, I promise.
Okay.
But continue where you're at.
No, I literally just finished that.
Alright. I'm wondering if you could make me a script for flickering lights.
A script for flickering lights.
Pretty much like, I want an erratic light for the unstable energy. And I had an idea too. It's not going to be the best now because we can't do like light emitting shit. But I was thinking maybe we can have lights too that we could put on the teleportals that do the same kind of trigger fade as the teleportals, like a purple light. But because I have these lights here near the unstable energy just to give them like a red glow, but I'm wondering if I could just have an erratic, really noisy thing that just fucks with the intensity.
Yeah, you totally can. So I guess my question is, are you gonna have like a bunch of these and they all need to be kind of different, like different variations on this?
That would be preferable if they have like a seed or something. I don't know if
Well,
that's
because the reason that I ask is because you can actually create an animation and animate the intensity of the light yourself.
Yeah, I know I could do that, but I was
Okay.
just to cut down on animations because you said you'd rather have a script for some things.
Yeah, that's true for mostly for things that affect gameplay. Like we ran into a couple of things where if you animated a turret and you like rotated the parent object, and so the beam was like shooting around,
Yeah.
because that was on an animation and the beam itself was on a script, it would like fuck up the size of it sometimes because the animation would update before the script or vice versa.
Ah.
And so stuff like that is it. But if it's like completely, if it's like 100% cosmetic, then no, I don't really care. However, the only other thing that I would say about that is the way that it may work even better is if I do a script for it, the way it may work even better is that you can toggle it on and off through trigger zones and stuff like that as well. So it adds a little bit more feature to it.
Yeah, I would say like if we do not necessary yet for like the teleportals to make like a purple glow, I think that'd be dope. That would have to be a script, but these ones I could do an animation.
Yeah. Well, so and the other thing is that like what I'm also thinking for the unstable energy is if we could actually make it so that like if you put a trigger zone basically inside of the inside of where the unstable energy is, and have that be what triggers the light to turn on, then basically it will, like, that light will go erratic when he dies, which is kind of interesting too.
I would like that, but only if it's more, if it gets more intense like the second he hits, because I want it to be, because it looks like it should have some kind of light, because it's like an erratic texture anyway. Give me a second, I'll fucking hustle my way over there. So you see it's like always moving. I'd like a flickering light.
Yeah, totally.
But that'd be cool if, like, when he dies, to have, like, an explosion of... It just gets more intense and then just keeps up the flicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Walls. Okay, so yeah, let's that's a pretty easy thing to do. So let's just do that real quick, and maybe we'll find out like what the some specifics on how we want to actually use it after I get it in. So all right. So we're gonna do this real quick. We're just gonna toss in a new script, new features.
That's great. Watch this real quick, because I turn him off so he can't die, but I turn it on and he just like melts.
Dude, it's great when you're completely inside of one. I actually used this to do screenshots before. Hold on one second. I need to light flicker. Yeah, we are. I'm gonna definitely fucking have to do some folders here.
Sure.
It's getting intense. The number of scripts that are in this game.
Could you maybe put like a little speed thing on there, maybe?
Yeah, I can do anything I want.
Yeah, like preferably like it would just be a speed of like not on and off, but like from intensity.
Right, no,
you could put
right,
like
right. So here's my idea. I think I know exactly what you need out of this. That is a basically a range. So have lower intensity, higher intensity, and then a speed at which to like go between those.
Fuck yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's do that then. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is first thing we're gonna do is say we're gonna get a public float for lower intensity. I can probably spell that.
I have it up right here. INTENSITY.
Intensity. We'll do 1F. So I don't know what the exact values are for lights. Does it go between 1 and 0, or does it?
It goes pretty high. You can get it. It looks like it maxes out at 8.
Oh, so this is actually important. What kind of light are you only doing it for? Point lights or directional lights or?
I have point lights right now. Those are like the things I'm messing with.
Okay. Because it actually unfortunately does matter. Actually, wait. maybe it doesn't. Spot directional. Okay, so if I create a spotlight area light, it just okay. Never mind. It's the same. Okay, it's the same component.
Awesome.
So that's good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, point light. We're just gonna say you're called light, so it goes up to the top there. And let's see. It's been a while. Just gonna make sure Mike still dies. Good. I get nervous about that disconnecting. Okay, so here's our light. We're gonna put our light flicker on it. Here's our light flicker, so we have a lower, higher intensity. It looks like we can go, yeah, up to 8. So we go 0 and 8 is our topness. I don't know if it matters so much. Do you care what the defaults are?
No.
Okay.
I'm probably like right now. I just have this at like 0.2. Even the ones that are lighting the room are at 0.5. It's fucking intense, like super bright.
Yeah. So I have it set between 0 and 1 right now.
Yeah, that's perfect. I probably would go above 1.
So here's the thing. If we have a lower and higher intensity, you don't actually want to just go between those, is the problem. Because what you want, I'm assuming, is a random value near one of those values.
Yeah.
So that adds a little bit more complexity, because how much do we vary that by? Do you think that should be another configurable thing?
Oh.
Or should I just like put in a thing to say like, oh well, it should be, but go to 1 but give or take like 0.2 or something? Or do you think you should define that as a separate setting?
Separate setting sounds good, but it might be overkill right now, because I just need pretty much random in between those.
It might be, but yeah. So here's the part that's possibly overkill, but so I'm guessing we can get away with one value that is the amount of variance between the random range that we want.
Yeah. If it goes by like
for both the lower and higher intensity, right? Like, because we could theoretically say like, oh, lower intensity, vary that by 0.1, but higher intensity, vary it by 0.4.
Yeah.
But would you want to do that, or would you want to just say we have a single float value that is like that you vary everything by?
I don't know. The 2 sounds pretty awesome.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
So let's go with public float lower variance. And any preference on the default for that?
Well, because we're going from the default.
It's gonna be
right
small.
now.
It's gonna be like less than 0.5 probably.
You should just do, yeah, because right now I have my shit at like 0.2, so maybe, like, I don't know, 0.05?
0.05? Okay.
Or maybe 0.1?
Yeah, 0.1 seems enough to be noticeable, but not crazy.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they're just defaults anyway, so higher.
Yeah, 'cause even right now, my lights are probably going to be from, my main stage lights are like 0.5, and then the little flicker lights I have they're going to be going between 0 and 0.2. Maybe a little bit more. Nah, maybe I'll do it like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what we need is a light variable that is the light that we're going to be changing, which is going to be on. We know because of the design of this, it's going to be on the same game object. So yeah. I guess I'll just call it my light, and then we'll just say when we start, my light equals get component light. And so let's see. Oh, so we also need speed. Here's the thing that I'm not certain about for the speed. What does speed mean? You know, like
Pretty much going to be like the speed at which it's ping-ponging between the two. So
okay, well then if that's the case, then here's my question: is so between the two, meaning like a second value, as in like, do you say like, oh, you know, every whatever number of seconds, you know, go back to your lower, and then every point, like, do you do that as a second value?
I would do it as one because it's mainly going to be for like it's going to look like flickering, so it's going to have to be relatively fast all the time, unless we have like a pulsing light.
Okay, here's another complexity.
All right.
Don't you think that the speed should vary as well?
This
Like if you're even if it's a random thing, this is going to be oscillating at the exact same speed unless we add some kind of variance to it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know that one.
Like, should we have a speed and then a speed variance?
Like a constant speed and then it varies sometimes.
Well, so you need a baseline, right? Or like what we could do is we could make it be like lower speed and higher speed so that it goes like somewhere between those. But like, you know, you basically want to say, like if you said I want to start it at 1 second, right? And I want it to go back and forth over the course of a second. So at 1 second it's at higher, 1 second it's at lower, and then it just goes back and forth. But you want it to vary a little bit. Like you don't want this constant, super even pulse. You want it to be like, oh, well, the first one is 0.9 seconds, and then it goes really quickly back to the other one over the course of like 0.2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to vary like that.
I see. So you have two values, like you get to the lower end this quick, the higher end this quick.
Yeah, so do we then have like do we have a lower and higher speed variables? Do we have a speed and then a speed variance so that we say like, okay, do it 1 second, give or take some amount, or do you just want a lower and higher? It's basically the same thing, it's just how you think about it.
Yeah. Fucking I don't know. Not exactly sure.
Because we have a lower and higher intensity, so
Yeah.
maybe we just do a lower and higher speed.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say lower Qer. So lower speed will make. And this is a second value, or are we trying to do something else with it? Because speed doesn't necessarily imply. Speed is kind of the opposite of a second value, essentially, you know? Like, the higher the speed, the lower the number of seconds between things. So, like, what are we calling speed?
I don't know, frequency? That would be the term I would use, like, say if I was doing something, like, in max, that had
So, number of times per second. Is that what you mean?
Oh, shit.
Like, yeah, so what does speed mean? Does it mean like in hertz? Are we saying like number of times that this happens within a second, or do we call it like the number of seconds that you wait before going to back and forth?
Fuck, I don't know.
Speed is a lot more complicated than you thought, isn't it?
Yeah, seriously. So it'd be the number of times it hits the maximum a second. Wouldn't that just be one value? Because it would have... No, it wouldn't, I guess.
Right, because
I would
I
say-
would be doing it randomly.
I would say time, maybe.
Okay, so you want like lower speed meaning like it's a greater second value,
Yeah.
and the higher speed meaning like that's the lower second value because it happens really fast.
Yes.
Okay, let's try that.
Alright.
And maybe we have to tweak some shit, but should be good.
True.
Moten Skiat says, hi there. Hi there, Moten Skiat.
What up?
I forget if I'm pronouncing that name wrong again. It's like Motan. Moten. I'm pretty sure it's Moten. But now I don't remember. I'm gonna seriously need like a translator for all of the names. Like I need need to make like in the bot. It'll like I'll have to have like a registry of names and be like every time this name comes up, I'm gonna give you the the actual the sounded out shit. I can't think of the word for that, but it doesn't really matter.
Mnemonic spellings for everything.
Hmm?
Those spellings for shit, like there are in dictionaries. Like sounds like this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a term for that I can't think of. Okay, so we have our higher speed and lower speed. We have our light. So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna need a coroutine in here to do this. But what we're gonna need, the thing that we're gonna need that we don't have yet is a it's like a destination, right? A light destination. Intensity destination. That sounds great.
Sounds smart.
So what we're going to do in our update is we are going to take our light and say my light dot intensity equals it's a compound name. Okay, Moten Skiat. Right. Yeah. No, I remember that because it's the it's one of the many languages that has the male and female. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna do is a math up. Suds Dev. Thanks for following. Made me lose my place here.
I'm just so excited.
So excited! I heard the little horn, which was broken. And I remember last time we streamed, and I was like, why am I not getting this sound? Somehow the sound changed from the horn that I made to an asteroid rolling, and it was like so low that I could just never hear it.
Wait, you have a noise for any time somebody follows?
Yeah.
It should be the rap air horn. And or twanging for planets.
Well, I wanted to make it something that I made.
So,
so Suds Dev, I wrote my own little follower thing, and it only checks every about 20 seconds, and who knows really when the list that I get updates, so that's why it's not immediate. I don't know what API like other things use, but because I wanted to put it inside of my own app, I wrote my own thing to check it. So, which really got fucked up when when I lost internet, and so the follower list returned nothing, and so it put everyone into the unfollowed list.
Oh shit!
So it was really depressing. I was like, look at this. It looks like we have no followers. So we're doing this math-up.lerp on the light intensity, and we are going. So here's our from is the mylight.intensity. The to is the intensity destination. Exploit 44 just followed as well, maybe also 10 minutes ago, but thank you however many minutes ago you followed.
Thank you much.
So this is our intensity destination, and then we do our delta time over that, and I think that we're going to have to do this is where our speed is going to have to come in to consideration. So I guess we'll say something like for now, I know I'm going to have to fix this like hardcore, but for now what we're going to do is say, wait, actually our speed, man, we're just gonna say Delta time for now because we're gonna have to figure out even how we're determining what's what. I think what I'm gonna also need for this is another float for the remaining time on between our things there. Oh, it was only one. See, that was only 1 minute. So who knows? So Moten Scat, what will happen if you unfollow and follow 10 times? No, actually, and this goes back to the thing that I mentioned before about the unfollowed list. So this is kind of a this is maybe like a bad thing for my ego, but I actually keep a list now of everyone who has followed, and so there's a list of everyone who has followed, and then we get the entire follower list every 20 seconds, and then if somebody is missing from that list who was previously a follower, then I add them to this separate list, which is all of our previous followers, which means they are no longer following the channel. So I have a list of all our previous followers since we have run this bot. And so what happens is if we find a new follower, I do a check to see if that person was already in our previous followers list, and then I just add them back to our current followers, and they do not get a shout out for that. So you only get one. You get one chance to get your shout out, and if you unfollow and refollow, then you're just added back to our follower list, and you're just quietly added back to our follower list. So the only way to get another shout out is if you make a new user and change your Twitch name and then do it. That's the only way you can kind of get around that. That would be, if somebody really wanted to go through all that trouble just for the shout out, then I would happily give them that extra shout out, because that's dedication. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do a little I enumerator for the change intensity. And what we're going to do, it's already giving me shit that I'm not returning anything. So yield return, woo, I can't spell return now. Yield return new wait for seconds. I'm just going to say 0.1f and end it there, just so that it stops complaining that I'm not returning a value. Maybe Twitch can help you with your random variance problem. Man, I can get, they can certainly help me with being randomly sidetracked and not getting work done, but I like that. That's why I stream all the time. Twitch is known for randomly unfollow people. Oh, really? I don't think I've ever, like, as in Twitch, the service, like, just removes people from followers and stuff like that. You unfollow person you watch every night. Oh, that's weird. Can't recall that ever happening to me, but I would not be terribly surprised. Little glitch in the matrix. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. What we need is a remaining time. Our remaining time is going to be a random value between our lower speed and our higher speed, or vice versa, kind of. So what we're going to do is set our remaining time to random range. Random range is deprecated, so why do you still have it there? Floatman. Okay, so we're going to go between. So technically, the lower speed, somewhere between. I guess it doesn't even matter. It's just going to go between the two. And higher speed. So technically, our higher speed is the lower value, but I don't think it matters which one I do first. So just for looks, I'm going to keep it that way. And then what I can actually do is set this to remaining time. So now what this does is it'll loop on a random timer, basically, between our lower and higher speeds. So what we need to do now is change the light intensity. So the first thing that we do is we say, so we give our intensity destination. Intensity destination. That's going to equal a random range between our... Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, boy. Let's... Intensity destination. I don't want to make this too ugly. Massey. That is not a sprite. That is an actual 3D live rendering of the character. That is a Unity app that I have connected to Twitch. It's not a sprite at all. So shit. I need to keep a current lower and current higher value. I don't want to have to. I have to do this every frame, so I'm just gonna keep it up here. Current lower, and then float current higher. 0f.
Oh, fuck. Oh, quick resort.
Experiences in that type of rendering. Yeah. If you want to post a link, we don't restrict links here. Because I encourage people to share information and stuff like that, and if we have a problem with a single person, we will deal with that individually. So yeah, you are free to post links until such time as you post some porn or something. Just for the extra shout out, just blew Mike's mind with a follow. So thank you for following just for the extra shout out. That's awesome. Was that like Automotos or something?
This is like it's a pixel shader. There was actually I looked at the pose and I'm like, that might not be right, but he's got like GIFs or some shit, or he had like turntables of like models made with this pixel shader. It's like a free thing for Blender. I downloaded it, but I know nothing about Blender.
That is why Blender is the best. Blender represent.
They have versions, so I was looking through something about this too, and there's like other ways to do something like that with built-in renders and other 3D packages using like their cel-shaded built-in render, but nothing like this, because this is fucking cool looking. Because they have a turntable of this model somewhere. I saw it somewhere. It's fucking badass.
Shit. Yeah, that looks really cool. Yeah, Automotus. I assumed, or I didn't assume, but I thought that that just for the extra shout out could very well be you doing that. But maybe I was wrong about that.
Something. What do you think?
Okay, so we have our current lower and current higher. The reason that I did that is because what I need to actually do is say current lower equals random dot range, and we keep our let's see, it's going to be between the lower intensity minus lower variance and lower intensity plus lower variance. And then the current higher is going to be the same way. You guys can't see that just yet. Automos is trying to finish his game, so he doesn't have time for those shenanigans of creating extra Twitch names just to get shoutouts. That's fair. That's fair. I know exactly what you mean. I don't have time for that either. So we're going to do our higher intensity minus higher variance, and then our higher intensity plus higher variance. Yeah, that pixel art shader is really cool. Like that is a thing that it's funny because that is pretty much the one way that I would ever be able to create pixel art. Because I can't really draw for shit, but I could create a good enough looking model that looked decent in pixel art, probably, maybe. So yeah, that would be a thing that I would make for a game. You know, if I were going to make a 2D game, I would probably use that shader, just so I could get decent looking pixel art.
True.
Okay, so now that we have our current lower and current higher, so we're using our variance, right? For like, okay, so this is the higher intensity, this is the lower intensity. Actually, am I overdoing this right now? I think I only need one. Right? Am I crazy? Yeah, I think I only need one. So let's remove this. Let's use. I don't want to do this. I just want one variable for either the current lower, current higher. What?
Fuck. Automosis? Was he trying to figure out how to use that shader?
I need that shader working. Oh yeah. I don't know.
Here is an English tutorial apparently. Doing one post. Oh, I'm not signed in. Now I'll be watching legit. Log in already.
Okay, so our current range. So this is fuck. That's a terrible name too, though.
Oh, okay.
It's more like our current. What is it? Because it's the random value. Am I going about this all wrong? I'm really confused. I think I am. So here's what I need. All I need really here, I think, if I'm like totally off track right now, I think all I need is a boolean to toggle between like go to the lower, go to the higher, right? So so we can keep it as just one variable. I'm going to say go low, because that sounds funny. So the first thing that it's going to do, we're going to start off false so that it's going to go to the higher range. So what I do here is then I say if go low, then we're gonna use our lower thing. So the intensity destination is going to equal random dot range lower intensity minus lower variance, and then lower intensity plus lower variance, and there's that. So what we say is then otherwise, if we're going high, then all we have to do is just change this to higher intensity and put that over here, and then do higher variance and then put that over here. And so either way we get an intensity destination returned here. And so what we do, actually, so we don't need to do anything there, because the update is actually going to take care of actually changing the intensity of our light. So all this does is every X number of random seconds in a certain range, it will set the intensity destination. Now, because our actual intensity is lerping through our time delta time, I'm gonna guess that if we set that value, the random seconds, a little too low, between it toggling back and forth, it's never going to make it to the destination like we want it to. So, So I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that so that we always know we're gonna go to all the way to our destination. Because right now it's probably gonna just smoothly go between them, whereas we want it to jump farther the less time that we have, basically. Okay, so let's just give this a look. Now we've written a bunch of code and haven't tested anything at all, and so who knows how this is gonna fucking work. So here are all of our values. Let me grab the inspector and toss it over here so you can actually see it. So our lower intensity is 0, our lower variance is 0.1, so it's going to go somewhere technically between negative 0.1 to 0.1. Our higher intensity, we're going to make 0.5, and so it's going to go between 0.4 and 0.6. And our lower speed is 1, so it's going to be between 0.1 seconds and 1 second. Let's change that to 0.5, and then we're just going to run this and see what happens. Oh shit, I need to... Let's actually put this somewhere where we can really notice it. So I'll put it on this angel. And do we have any other lights in this? I think we have the main light, right, which we can turn down. So theoretically, yeah, you see how our light is like really varying pretty slowly.
Let's see, yeah.
Let's real quick. Let's bring up. I'm gonna just make this our destination. I'm gonna make this public so that we can actually make sure that this is updating properly. You can rotate the body a bit more. Oh, I think he's talking about the animation. Okay, so actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just to make this super clear. I'm gonna set this set that to 0, so we're only seeing the light that we're looking for. Light. So intensity destination is 0, and it does not seem to be changing. Gridstalk just followed. Thanks for following.
Thanks, man.
Oh, our intensity is changing. Weird. So our intensity went all the fuck down. Keeps going down to... It's really strange. Let's make the lower speed like 10 seconds and make the higher speed like 5. And then just so we can kind of actually get an idea. So intensity destination is staying at 0, which I'm guessing is not correct.
The intensity staying at 0, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, which doesn't seem right at all. Okay, so yeah, actually, so here's what I should do. This is dumb. I'm just going to... Oh, wait. I am the stupidest dumb asshole that ever lived. Here's the problem. I'm not starting this coroutine. Change intensity. So that's a problem. So it was never updating. So now it's actually going to do what I want it to do. In theory. Vampire Bloodlines. You know, I've never played a Vampire Bloodlines game, but I see them sometimes and I'm like, I feel like that could be really cool. It seems dated if it's the game that I'm thinking of. It's like it kind of has that like 90s like low poly and old school rendering stuff, but yeah, definitely be cool. Oh, okay, so wait a second. I'm a fucking dumb jerk. Heather is having fun. Great. Okay. Alright, so here's our problem. The problem is that we ran this coroutine and it ran once, it returned its wait for second value, and then it never happened again. So what we actually need to do here is put this in a while loop, which I've mentioned before. Sounds like a really bad idea. If you've ever written an infinite loop before in a program, you know how fucking awful it is. But because we are returning this wait for seconds, it actually does this once, and then it yields. And so because the coroutine is kind of like, it's like light threading, because Unity is actually single threaded, but a coroutine will allow you to like do something and then it'll kind of like hold off for a bit, for a certain number of seconds. So let's see if that works now. Oh, yeah, you know what, that shit is the worst. When somebody's like, hey, I really want to update this game and make it for modern times, and they're like, well, that's our IP, so fuck you. And like, they have to defend their IP, but at the same time, especially if they don't make money off of it, then it's kind of like you shouldn't give as much of a fuck, maybe. But I don't know. I think that shit is sad. It's sad when projects like that get shut down. Okay, so
like a fan-made project.
Yeah.
I see.
I'm assuming that he was talking about a fan-made project. Oh, I'm a stupid dumb jerk again. So this is why I wanted to actually just get to the testing part, so that I remembered all the things that I just fucked up. So the problem is that go low we have set to false, and it never changes. And so I'm going to set go low to not go low.
I get it.
YOLO.
I get it.
You got it, Brolo.
Brolo.
Okay, so now that we're actually toggling back and forth, we're gonna check it out. You want to make a Samurai Pizza Cats game? I don't even know.
I've heard of that before. It was a cartoon or something, right?
I don't know. Okay, so you can see that we have our light varying now. It's going somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds, which is a lot of time. That's not how we would do it. But it is definitely doing it like it's supposed to, which is great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the little like stress test of it to see when we get like lower speed. We'll do like 0.5. A little tickle in my throat. And we're going to do 0.1 for higher speed. So it's going to go somewhere between a tenth to half a second, and it's going to vary that often. So I think that it will not even make it to its destination. Yeah, so you can see it's really like smoothly kind of interpolating, and it's just going back and forth and not quite getting where it needs to be. And so what I need to do is I need to create some maths that will actually like kind of, that it will go faster the less time that is remaining. And so because I'm doing a lerp, I can do it kind of cheaply.
That shit's fucking dope as hell already, though. It's 100% what I want.
Cool. Yeah, it should be with this one fix. If I can do some maths correctly, then, or at least not even maths, because this may not be precise. But what I'm thinking is that we can actually multiply this delta time value, and I can say like, okay, well then do it by 5, and so it will interpolate between the values like 5 times faster than it just did there. But that's not really what we want. What we actually want is for the speed to vary depending on how much time is left. So what I can do here is say what I'm thinking, that may not be right, but I can basically multiply it by 1 over the remaining time. And so what that should do, in theory, is that the greater the remaining time, see if I have this right, the greater the remaining time, the faster the speed, because it's 1 over, or should be 1 minus. Now I can't remember. Let's bring up my calculator. So, like, let's say you have 2 seconds left. So this will be, so it'll say like 1 divided by 2. So if you have 2 seconds left, it's only going to multiply. It's going to multiply it by 0.5. But if you have, let's say, but if you have like 0.1 second left, so if we said 1 divided by 0.1, it's actually going to multiply it by 10. So if you have like under a second, it will be much faster. That's kind of my theory on this. I mean, I know that the math kind of semi works out. I don't know how it will actually end up looking, so we're going to find out. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I mean, we're still doing a maximum of 0.5, so there's still like half a second that we can be doing this by. So we can make it a little snappier and kind of see what we end up with.
Sure.
If there's time, can you speak how you tune the character control, how you use physics, or yeah, I prioritize answering questions, so which means that depending on how chatty people are, I get less work done. But that's what I like to do. God damn it, Dean. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Yeah, so
I hear it. I watched the Twitch for 20 seconds.
yeah, exactly. That's unfortunately
yeah, it's fucking awesome.
But yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So let's make this 0.1 and make this like 0.01 just to see if we see how snappy we can really get it. So to answer your question about the character, whoa, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so the slower speed, let's make 0.2. So to answer your question about that, we don't use physics for the character. We have like really specific objects, like to show you real quick, if you do Mike Dye's asteroid, then that asteroid right there is a physics object. And just to answer, so yes, if you're asking if this light is the intended behavior, then yes, it's supposed to be an erratic, crazy light. So the asteroid is a physics object. So it actually just like it rolls like any normal physics object would, except we restrict its z movement, so it stays on the same plane as the character, or it stays on the same plane relative to the character, which is actually behind it. So we don't do actual like rigid body physics on the character, but we do absolutely do rigid body physics for things like asteroids, and I honestly think that that's it. I don't think we use physics for like anything other than asteroids right now. I may be wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one other place where physics are used, and that is once the character dies. So the movement of the character, like I can actually do this in Mike Dies right now. I can move him back and forth, and so I can kind of do whatever I want. I can make him hover. And this is all like I'm using key commands right now just to mess around with them. This doesn't use physics. It uses collision, of course, but it's not using rigid body physics or anything like that. It's kind of awesome that I can play this like in live in Twitch. Like if somebody right now like threw an asteroid, I could try to dodge it. That'd be a fun game. We should hook up something like that for somebody to actually like play it live. So that's using like basic collision, especially for like the floor, because you know you gotta stand on the floor. But I'm really just doing like you said, the kind of like, translate this character by 0.1 or something like that, Oh shit, oh shit, oh fuck. I tried to get away. I was too late. I turned him around, but then he just died instantly. That was great. So as you can kind of see there, once the character dies, all of his joints, like basically it goes, wrist, elbow, shoulder kind of thing, like all of those pieces actually become rigid body physics objects, and that's how we ragdoll the character. And so that is the only other use that I can think of for physics. Everything else is done in a very like precise, move this by X amount, or is done through like explicit animations and not through physics. Because the thing about physics is that physics is really random. So you can't really have a platformer with like simple rigid body physics because it's a little too erratic to control. Like you wouldn't be able to, for instance, turn in midair like you can in most platformers, and we have it in here. It's not a thing that you would be able to do with like normal rigid body physics. So we don't do that for the actual platforming part of it, but we absolutely do it basically for effect. For things like killing the character, ragdolling him, having asteroids roll over him, and stuff like that. But yeah, so for the most part, all of that stuff is done through really explicit movements in script. Yeah, thanks. I was super excited. So, because I don't like to take too much credit for the idea, at least, this was super, super inspired by Binri's game SideQuest. And if you don't know who Binri is, I'm actually let me just link his channel, because anytime this thing comes up, I'm like, dude, I appreciate that this thing is really cool, and I enjoy it a lot. But if you want to see a super fucking serious implementation of this thing, check out this dude, because he actually made a full-fledged like text adventure game, complete with characters. Everyone who tunes into his stream is a character that walks across the screen, and it's a text adventure. So there's this basically NPC type guy called Trusty Bard, who basically tells you the events, and he'll be like, hey, this thing happened, so what do you want to do? And you type in your like hashtag action, and based on everybody's responses, it does a bunch of different stuff, and will actually give you experience points, and you level up, and that changes what your character looks like.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's super, super intense, and it's all written in Python.
Oh.
So it's pretty cool. So that's where I got the idea for this Twitch bot in the first place. I saw this thing and I was like, that's really cool. I don't want to write it in Python though, because, and actually, fun fact, I taught Ben Python like from the start, like when we worked together. So it's funny to see him using it now. Yes, he also linked it to Twitter. So after he was done with all of the kind of like Twitch implementation of it, he actually made a Trusty Bard Twitter, and so now Trusty Bard will tweet out events that happen, and you can respond to those tweets and play the game through Twitter, and you can link your Twitter and Twitch accounts so that you'll basically like you can keep playing the game as the same person between the two things.
That's cool.
It's pretty intense, and I highly recommend checking his stuff out because it's really cool. Okay, so we have our light now. We have our like totally very like erratically varying light. So let's try it by 0.3 just to see like how much variance we get. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so I'm gonna send this your way.
Cool. Thanks, man.
So we're gonna submit this to our little source control. Easiest way to do that is to do hold right click and compare. And we should see, so there's demo end. I have that open up for edit. I'm going to add this. And these other two I already have open for edit, so those are good. And what I'm actually going to do is Team Explorer, just to show you another little thing inside of... Hey, I want you to dock. Dock now, please. Please dock. There we go. So in my pending changes, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to exclude everything right now. So I don't want to submit all this stuff yet. The only thing I want to submit is this the thing that I'm adding, which is called light. Was it called light something? Light flicker? Light flicker? What did I call it? Damn it.
Sure.
I already lost. Light flicker. Here we go. I'm going to include those changes. So now I'm excluding everything else. I just want to submit this in. So adding light flicker script. And check in. Yes, check that in. Okay, so view sync now. You can play around with that shit.
All right.
Put this back over here.
Submitted that, so I can check in too. I tweaked a couple things, so I'll have to update as well. But that doesn't fuck up anything, right?
Well, you don't have to submit for this. You can just sync.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like, you don't have to do the compare. You can just you can just right click on the scripts folder and do get latest, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
I just closed my Team Explorer, which is really dumb, so now I need to find that again. Team.
Is it good to sync right now?
Yep. Yeah, you're good.
Just so it's the same thing. Get specific version, but only on scripts, or get late.
Get latest. Yeah.
Oh, get latest. Oh, okay.
Damn it! How do I get the shit? How do I get the Team Explorer back up?
Team Explorer.
Butts. Yeah, that's what the window is called.
You don't have the team button at the top?
No, because I docked it somewhere else to show it on screen, and then I just closed it. So now I need to Team Foundation server. Okay, good. There's Team Explorer. Great. We're all good. Pending changes. There are no pending changes. Excluded changes. I'm gonna include all. Great. All right. So, yeah, barring any problems with that, I think we are ready to move on. Yeah. I was checking under window, and it didn't seem to be there. Like, I can do. It gives me options for things, but it doesn't actually give me like a list of windows. It gives me a list of windows that I currently have open, but that's not helpful. I could just click on them. What I actually did was I ended up going under Team and connected Team Foundation server. So like I went as if I was going to reconnect, and it brought up my Team Explorer. So I don't know, it worked. Okay, so actually. Yeah, no, I know the drop downs don't show up on stream. It's because I'm streaming a specific window, because that's way more efficient, and sadly I'm gonna have to switch over now to streaming an entire monitor, which unfortunately is more like intensive, so it can sometimes bog me down a bit, because then I'm streaming my window and also I'm getting in Skype video and I'm adding these other windows, stuff like that, so it can get a little intense and it slows me down sometimes, but we're gonna deal with it.
Deal with it.
So I'm gonna open up my teletasks. Whoops, not that
This
one.
is fucking amazing. What the fuck keeps happening now? That's weird. Let's try some shit.
View and not word wrap. Okay, here are the things that I want to do. And so actually, I've never done this before on stream, but we're going to shut down Unity because I'm actually going to do sound design.
Oh, shit.
Craziness. Absolute craziness. So I'll switch over to full monitor. So now you're seeing this, and I actually have to add Skype into here because I did not done that just yet. Window capture, Skype, Skype.
That's fucking awesome.
Window, sub-region, select region. It's waking out.
It's like perfect. I gotta put it on all the lights. all the unstable lights.
Now just every light in the game. Just make them all crazy.
Honestly, I'm not opposed to that shit. This one is...
Okay, so that looks pretty good then. Yeah, getting to the sound design. Okay, so here we go. So let's bring up our sounds that we have, which is under here, and audio, and Mike Dies audio. So basically, what I have is I start off with a bunch of sounds. I got some of the stuff from freesound.org. If you have never been there, it's super handy because basically this is like a semi last minute thing. That we're just trying to get in for a demo. I got some stuff from there because there are some things that are not super practical to record myself. And so we are going to play around some of these sounds. So let's see what our first item is here. Oh, the drop platform countdown. So this is the thing that I brought up before with where basically we have this drop platform that has a bunch of lights to it, and it will, like, those lights slowly turn off as the platform gets closer to basically like shutting off, and then those lights come back on. So we want a sound basically for each time a light turns on. And so what we're going to do is we're going to completely ignore all of this stuff, and we are going to make a sound. We're going to synthesize a sound. And we do that through here. What is need to fix my key commands still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a little synth. Here is our thing. We don't need that much space. I'm going to just do a little sound. So what I'd like to do is I'm just going to bring this guy up here. What I usually do when I'm doing sounds like this is I'll just put a note in somewhere and extend it out a bit. Yes, that is. I've totally used that, and it is great if you want something that sounds kind of retro, you know. Yes, SFXR, exactly. SFXR and BFXR are really great if you want something that sounds pretty retro. It's kind of limited, and you can't control quite enough of it. It's like, it's a good thing if, like, you're not a sound designer, basically. And since I am a professional sound designer and get paid way too much money to be a sound designer, I feel like I need to justify that with using very more elaborate tools, basically. And so that's what we're going to do here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a synth. We're going to bring up our texture. So here we have, so this is actually a free plugin that I got, and since I'm kind of like pimping shit out, if you are interested in getting some synths on the cheap, and by cheap I mean totally free, this is where I get a bunch of plugins that I use. it's pretty great. You can just like, and so like even so if you don't want to just like download sounds and then deal with editing them, this will actually, you can use something in like this DAW right here, which is called Reaper. And so, this synth that I'm using right now is actually I downloaded from vstforfree.com. So it is pretty good place to get some stuff. So by default we add this thing, and let's see. So that's what it sounds like. And I did not loop. So there we go. Also, let me know how loud that is. It's pretty low to me, so hopefully it's not blasting you guys out of your eardrums. But it's sometimes hard to gauge, so just let me know if it's super loud. Oh, you know, I just realized that I just fucking put this over here, I guess. I covered. Cool. Thanks for letting me know. So, alright, so what I totally neglected to do is actually loop this. So this is what I'll do. Is I will good. Yeah, thank you guys for letting me know. Because as a sound designer, it'd be pretty embarrassing if I couldn't mix things properly. So let's shorten this a little bit, because we don't really need a long sound. This actually has to be super short, and so what I really should do is just make sure there's no real resonance on this. We want to make it super short, and then I can hit spacebar, and then this will just constantly play, and I can mess around with my synth while that's happening. And the first thing that I'll do is we're just going to go through a couple of these little presets. So that's kind of low. I know a couple of good ones that I like to use, but I'll just like show you the kind of sounds that we get. I'm going to speed this up a bit because I don't like waiting. That's a weird one. So we need something that like has a good, you know, kind of immediate, like a really quick attack. That's a weird. No, that's not.
What did you design this sound for you?
This is for the drop platforms. So like, as the lights go out in the drop platforms, they'll go like do 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 do. Kind of do like a descending and ascending thing. Because right now I'm using a temporary sound, and then I'm pitch shifting it, and I would ideally like to do is have a specific sound for each one, so that I'm not just doing some horrible sounding pitch shifting.
True.
Yeah, number 4, if it helps at all you really need to do is, first of all, just go through presets like this, you know, just like just listen to what the person who made this synth kind of found, a bunch of things that they thought sounded good, and and they like set them up like this. So then what you do is you start from a preset. Like, I know I'm going to use this bottles one. I think that's what I wrote down as what the thing I liked. Yeah. So I like this bottles one. It's not quite right. Like, you know, there are a couple of things I want to change about it, obviously, but it's a good starting point, right? And so a couple of things that you would need to know to really, to a degree, sound design is about randomization. So you just tinker around, like seriously, just kind of move shit around until it sounds cool. Find one of these knobs that like does something that cool that you like, and just kind of play around with it, and then move on to the next one. So it is a lot of stuff, but you will get more used to it. The stuff that is like pretty consistent is right over here, this amplitude envelope. So like right here, this is our attack, and so the more that we put up this attack, see I raise the attack, and now we're getting like a much more gradual kind of like, instead of that like really sharp attack, we're getting the, you know, so basically this attack value is, you know, we don't really see an exact value, but it's basically the number of seconds it takes to get up to full volume. And so the larger I make this attack, the more of a ramp there's going to be there. World of Darkness, there is nothing specific about Unity that would prevent you from making an MMO. The things that are going to prevent you from making an MMO are entirely separate from Unity, I guarantee you. So the attack value is the one that basically creates that little ramp. The next one right here is the decay, and what that is unlike the attack, the decay is actually basically an amplitude. So your attack is the amount of time it takes to get to full volume. Your decay is how far down from that attack you go. You know, so like, do you come up for an attack and then kind of go back down a little bit? Like, you know, you decay back down to some kind of normal volume, which is your sustain. So I don't really have much of a, like, this is a really short note that I have in here right now. But what I can do is, if I raise the sustain, you can see this, we just got louder there. The attack is still the same, where we're ramping up over the certain number of seconds, but our sustain now, for that little period of time where this node is active, we've raised the volume to that. The release is the opposite of the attack, as you may imagine. And what that does is, that is basically the sustain that happens after you end the note. So the greater I turn this up, the more we should get like a, yeah. See, now that I have turned that that release up, we're actually kind of sustaining long after we have stopped the note. But we definitely don't want that for this. Like, we want a pretty low thing here. So one of the things that we have here is a delay. So yeah, I guess, like, if we're just going through like tutorial sake for this stuff, the reverb is basically what makes it sound kind of bigger, like it's in some kind of cave or like some kind of space. That's the reverb part of it. I feel like I'm suffering. Yeah. So if I turn the reverb off, you will no longer feel like you're in a submarine. Aside from the other part of this, which is the delay, but we'll get into a second. So this metal one is not a standard thing. So like, certainly don't look for that everywhere, but this kind of like gives us a little bit of a, you know, we have like values here that are obviously very specific, like clang. Like, that's not a real thing, that is just some way that they described what this does. So we turn our clang all the way down and we get this. We turn it all the way up and we get that. Is there value in having an editor that works on extremely high detail spectrogram plot? Not really. So a spectrogram is useful for giving you data about like how loud frequencies are and stuff like that. It's not going to really do much of anything for sound design, and to the point about it being, I guess, like specifically for it being like high detail, that's really not going to matter, because you don't hear things in exact detail like that. If there was a really highly detailed spectrogram that gave you the frequency information for a sound, the actual way that you would hear it would be much more fluid. You know, if you have a single like a single frequency playing in one place and then another frequency, it's not like you don't hear exactly this frequency and then this frequency and nothing else. You know, you're going to get resonance from elsewhere. You don't have a perfectly even hearing across all frequencies. If you look up the Fletcher-Munson curves, that is that's kind of the frequency response of your ears, or you know, it's an estimation of the average person, right? How well they hear certain frequencies. So if you get really high detail plot of things like that, it's not giving you useful information, because it's not the way that you're hearing it. You know, that's why most equalizers and most spectrograms, I guess not even just spectrograms, but most like EQ curves, um, are like really are pretty general. You know, they will cover a frequency range of almost an octave or something like that, because that's the broader way that you hear things. Hello from me and Games Matter. What's up, Beta Wave Radio? You are Nelson from Games Matter. Well, thanks for stopping by. I like the Beta Wave Radio name. That's good. Video games in the Bible. So wait, video games in the Bible. Are you saying that you or are you the extra shout out person? Is that what you're saying? Now that you signed into your proper account? Because we're going to be on to you if that's the case. We're going to know what's up. Okay, so beginning back to here, what I can actually do, all of these little blue dots are actually toggling all of these things. So if I just turn off the metal, I turned off the metal. So you hear that, like a lot of metal sounds are the higher frequency, like really like twangy or clangy kind of sounds. Let's see. So what it means, maximum detail, for instance, in Adobe, in the interesting lower frequency, isn't enough to distinguish between ear-wise, easily discernible sounds. So yeah, I guess, yeah. So it depends what you mean by like how accurate you want it. But again, if you're talking about how different things sound, that's not only in frequency information. Like that's only going to give you so much. So, and at lower frequencies, actually at lower frequencies. So actually, maybe this is the crux of it. Is that at lower frequencies, the difference between, say, thank you, video games and the Bible for following. Oh, okay, yeah. So I see that makes more sense now. So sorry. So going from like 20 to 30 hertz, for instance, is a world of difference between going from 1000 to 1010 hertz. So frequency is logarithmic. It's not linear. So every doubling of frequency is an octave, and so the difference between 20 and 40 is equivalent to the difference between 1000 and 2000. It's a logarithmic. It's an exponential scale. So that's probably why lower frequencies are not going to be able to be as discernible for detail and stuff like that. But as far as sound design goes, like again, I've never had a super great use for a spectrogram for doing sound design. Like it's not the thing that's going to determine whether or not something sounds good or even fits into a mix super well. If anything, just like a live EQ, like a live, metering is going to give you more information than a spectrogram, like realistically. And I think with resonance would just be reading the full picture. Well, yeah. So resonance, because it's on intensity, the thing that is the highest intensity is probably going to be your resonance, and over the longest amount of time. So, yeah, again, like a spectrogram is interesting information, and it can be useful if you're doing something like music, which is supposed to really cover the full spectrum. But when you're doing sound design, usually you're kind of isolating a pretty small range, and so a spectrogram is not really the tool to analyze that so much, basically. Like a spectrogram will tell you how evenly balanced the frequencies are in a piece of music, which is important because you really want to hear all of the different frequencies. But when sound design, it's like, oh, I want this explosion, so you want probably a low rumble and then maybe some higher frequencies as like detail, right? You've never seen something like 0.5 hertz and 50 milliseconds. Well, yeah, but like 0.5 hertz, you don't even hear that as a tone, right? So like that, it makes that like that's irrelevant. Anything under 20 hertz, you're going to actually hear as individual pulses of sound, and so the spectrogram is also not helpful for that. Okay, so back to real quick, back to the synth. So you may notice that you're kind of hearing this echo of a sound, and I don't know if this annoys anybody else, but like I've just had this running constantly in the background, but hopefully it's low enough that it's not super bothering anybody. But if it is, let me know, and I will like try to stop it when I go off on my tangents. But if you listen to this now, you hear the main thing, but then you hear a little bit of this echo, and what that is that's this delay feature right here. So if I turn that off, you're only going to hear our main sound now. So now you don't hear that little kind of echo callback, because when it's real-time intuition, well, like again, yeah, you can, if you really like, yeah, spectrograms will definitely take some getting used to and all that stuff, but so yes, you can tell the difference between 1000 and 1000.5 as a sine wave. What is probably less likely, or maybe not likely at all, is for you to be able to tell whether in a complex sound whether or not a resonance is at 1000 or 1000.5. So in that way it makes it meaningless. Like it's data that you can maybe find some use out of, but it is not the most practical broad thing to do. Dark Scavenger, yeah, we all know that was an indie gem, underappreciated in its time, but we have better graphics now, so there's that. So yeah. So if we turn this delay back on, we'll get that little thing. But we don't. So I don't actually want a delay for this, because this needs to be a really quick like sound that we can theoretically play 7 of these within like half a second. You know, like it needs to be a thing that we go boop 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 boop. You know, something like that. So we need this to be a really quick sound that has a little bit of tone to it, but not so much that the sounds will overrun each other if we play several of them in sequence. So basically, I'm just going to play around with some stuff. So this res right here is kind of like the amount of resonance that we get in the frequency. So I guess actually to explain this a little bit, the bandpass is another thing that might be helpful to know, which is basically the center frequency. So there are like 3 super general types of EQs, that is to say, things that modify frequency ranges. And so if you have a low pass filter, what that does is that basically isolates all of the lower frequencies. In other words, it allows low frequencies to pass, hence the name low pass. The opposite end of the spectrum is a high pass, which will allow higher frequencies to pass and will cut off the lower frequencies. A band pass is either the opposite of both or the combination of both, where you have a center frequency and you are cutting off both high and low frequencies and only keeping the middle range. And so this res right here is determining like what our frequency is for our bandpass. And so let's see. So I kind of like that actually. And our mod is basically just kind of changing the timbre of our sound a bit. And then again, so as I explained right here, so this is our low pass right here, and as you can see, we're kind of like, yeah, so we turn that way up, So now I think that this like cut is not super not a super helpful thing. But yeah, so we do this low pass. The lower I go on this cut, the further back into the lower region of our low pass that we get. So if I go all the way down here, we basically cut off all of the sound because we're pretty high up in the frequency range here. We're basically cutting off like all of our sound. But if I do this, so then we're back in, like, you can hear a little bit of that mid range, but it kind of sounds muted. And if I go all the way back up, then we get the full range of our sound. So we're basically not doing a low pass at all at this point. Let's see. So that's pretty good. I'm gonna turn the metal. Let's turn the metal back on. And
What the fuck?
feedback.
What the fuck?
And I'm gonna just put a little bit of reverb in there. Oh, that's too much though.
Where's he going? Shit.
So yeah, we're gonna be done with this in a second. So the Verizon commercials never stop. I don't know. Are we getting Verizon commercials all over the place for some reason?
There's advertising on it.
Yeah, most Twitch channels it'll like run advertisements. Usually, I think it only happens like when you first get into the channel, but I think sometimes they will run if you're there for an extended period of time or something like that. And I think you can like manually do it yourself. I don't know if that's only for like partners and stuff like that, but you know, to get more ad revenue, you can be like, oh, we're gonna cut to a commercial and just kind of do that.
Oh, I see.
Let's see. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do let's just basically make an ascending scale with this. That's not what I want to do. Stop that. So let's do like, where should we go with this? We should go kind of sounds weird. It has this like almost flute-like quality when you do a scale in it. Kind of, I don't want it to be too resonant. It's a little goofy.
Shit.
Turn the reverb back on. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's try a little bit of a low. And I think maybe we'll just turn this down an octave.
Fuck.
Let's just try that real quick. And we have 7, so there are 7. I'm not doing this consistently at all. Let's try this. So there should be 7 stages of 7 lights that we basically want to do. So there is 6 and alright, so this will go we skipped a little bit. Like I kind of don't want to just do a scale, but maybe I just should. Skip the 7th there. I think that's doable. But if we put everything, actually that's dumb. We could kind of move everything up by a scale value. So we would basically be starting on like 2 of the scale and going up. So you can hear like that little ending, those last 2 notes give you like that little half tone that's at the end of a scale. Since we're doing 7 notes instead of 8, we can't do a full octave. But we're gonna go with 7, and so I think I'm just gonna start at 2 so that we go all the way up to our so that the ending of it is basically the root note of the scale. Okay, so let's do that then. So what I do here is I'm going to render this. We're gonna browse to the audio, monetize audio, and so a new folder. I guess we'll call this like final, because that's a descriptive word that helps me. Let's call this droplet scale. Okay, so here's all the stuff. This is another part I think that probably like non-audio people get intimidated by, is I'm rendering the whole mix of everything I'm doing here. I want to get my time selection in there, and we're going to do, this is pretty standard. I'm going to keep it mono though, because this is actually going to be like a position sound in the world, and so stereo is kind of meaningless because I'm basically singling it down to an individual point, so you don't actually get any kind of stereo effect. It's really pinpoint location. And then we'll keep all the rest of this shit, and we'll render a file, and of course there we go. So here are all of our notes that we just made. Okay, so let's go on. So we're going to call that good for now. And I was wildly inconsistent with this. I hate that font. It can really like fuck up your spacing so much. There we go. Okay, so move this. We'll put this over here. This stuff we're going to move here. Basically what I want to do is I want to do this in like 2 parts and put all of the synth stuff all together, and then put all of the kind of like more real world sounds all in one thing. Let's see. So that is good. So beam turrets, this will be an interesting one. So we can move on to that. Windows open and shut. Yeah, I don't shut that. Okay. So beam turrets. So now we have a completely different thing to try and solve, which is we need a sound for beam turrets turning on and off, or maybe just one that that is on for the duration that the beam is on. Video games in the Bible, we are currently using a program called Reaper, which I guess I linked all the other stuff except for this. And so I will link you to this. This is kind of like my DAW of choice because it's very, very customizable, and you can even do like Python scripting in it and all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely a programmer's dream of a of an environment to do audio in, because you can really automate a lot of stuff and do all kinds of stuff. And there's like basically you can do a free trial of it, and I'm not sure if there are really any limitations to it. It basically kind of does a nag screen where it'll just be like, hey, do you want to buy this? And it'll make you stay on that screen for 5 seconds, and then you just click still evaluating, and you move on with your lives. So yes, don't fear the Reaper. And I even love their like icon as a sickle. It's pretty. They really go all out with it. It's pretty fun. So what we want to do with this one is we're going to. We actually do want to sustain to this one, unlike the other one. What just happened? Chris? God, why? Chris, fix your shit. God, it's horrible.
Damn, was it?
Oh my God, okay.
Sorry, everybody. It was
We're
really
in the middle of a fucking sound design stream. You have to come in here with your high-pitched nonsense.
I fucking plugged in my goddamn headphones. That's all. It's weird.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Video games and the Bible.
Sorry, I fucked up everything. Thing on my fucking screen. All right. Well, I'm gonna continue working for a bit. I'm gonna go radio silent though.
All right.
Got some people are trying to sleep, but I'm gonna work for another hour or so. I want to talk to you probably tomorrow about just this one teleportal thing, the one in the stage that's missing. But I'm gonna dress one more level and then probably go to sleep. So,
Okay.
I'll chat when I'm dipping.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. I'm turning off the mic. Peace, everybody.
Okay, so for this one, we do want something with kind of a resonance. I don't know where we should really go, but we'll stick with C3 as like a kind of good middle of the road tone to use for this stuff. We'll just let this loop. Now we're gonna let's try something completely different. So that's an interesting one. Very different. Seems like that might be a little loud. We can turn this down a bit. So that looks better. Oh, it's actually okay. There we go. Okay. What? Did we actually lose the call? Oh, okay. Whatever. Deal with it. Let's get this back up. Let's get you back up, and then get this back up. Okay. So this is definitely like a much more resonant tone, but it's probably not really what we need for the. Whoa, that's a crazy one. Later, Moten Skiat. Thanks for stopping by. Ooh, that's a rough one. It's nothing. It's a little bass pluck. Let's see. I've been doing the phone conversation when the nuke blew up. I don't know. I'm not sure what movie you're talking about, but yeah, there's some pretty crazy ones in here. What are you doing? Oh, you're playing with your ball. So we're not gonna do hats. I know that much. This one is by Chris Skibura. Actually, I think I can I zoom in on that? Yeah. Oh, I don't know if that fucked everything else up, but hopefully Chris Skibura. I don't know if that came through, but if it did, hopefully you were able to read that name. It's called Texture, and so if you go on the VST for free site, it will, like you can just look up Texture, and this, I think it's the only one called Texture, so you should be able to find it that way. But it's a super useful one. It's very diverse, as we will kind of see. So let's see. I don't know any triplets. Symbol of evil? Yeah, it does sound evil. Yeah, that one's a little crazy. That's kind of neat, but... So let's see if we can play with this one a bit. Let's see. Change our low pass a bit. Yeah. So we're getting a little something that's not so crazy. It's kind of like, but it has a little interesting texture to it. What I want to do is actually, there we go. So if you remember when I was talking about the attack being like that kind of ramp up, so there's two envelopes that are working here, and the envelope is the full like attack, decay, sustain, release, and the first one is the actual sound itself, and so the attack is the ramp up on the sound. So if we raise the attack here, you know, so we get that kind of fade in. The same thing actually happens with the filter, where the attack is basically the amount of time that it takes for the filter to kind of kick in, and it's a smooth ramp between not hearing the filter at all and the filter like being in full effect. And so that's when you get, like, if I turn this attack all the way down, then you just hear like the filter on, right? But if we raise the attack on this, we get a little sweep. So you're hearing like, that's the filter actually turning on. And we can raise this attack a lot. So we really get that kind of, that ramp up, you know? Because there's a degree to which, like, our, you know, the turret itself, like the beams are pretty binary, you know, they are either on or they are off, but there's also in the, you know, for lack of a better term, animation to the turrets, there's a little like speed up that happens to them where they'll kind of be going at this like slow pace for a little bit, but then once they turn on, they kind of ramp up a little bit, they get a little bit more speed to them. So let's see. So I really kind of want to make this, yeah. Just gonna crank some stuff. Let's see what we get out of that. Nah, that's a little too much. It's interesting. Yeah, the delay was what was doing it. So Automotos, yes, and that's I mentioned briefly that I wanted to do this in two parts, which is the synth part and then the more like real world sounds. And I actually have I'll show you. And I know that people get annoyed much more easily than me, so I'll turn this off for now. But for recording the real-world sounds, that's where this little guy comes in handy. This is the Zoom H5, and this is a stereo mic pair. And so you can record sounds in stereo like this, and so you'll really get you get a full like stereo field if you want to do that, even though a lot of times what you'll end up doing is summing it down to mono signal anyway. But there are also these ports in the bottom which you can plug in any external microphone, and it's very, very powerful. And in fact, this stereo pair right here, this part actually comes off, and you can replace this little stereo pair with a shotgun mic if you're recording like stuff for video and you need to like really pinpoint a specific sound source and all that kind of stuff. Or they have other microphones that go on it, but this is the stock one. This is the stock like stereo mic pair. And so, and I actually I honestly I was seriously considering streaming with this so that the sound quality would be even better, but because I want to be doing live stuff, because I want to be doing like streaming while recording with this separately, it kind of has to unfortunately be separate. I may one day figure out how to do a stream really well that is able to do both, but until that time, I'll be doing them separately. But you'll be able to hear everything, obviously, anyway. So somebody is Skyping. Okay. Cool. So we won't be seeing any more arts in the stream. We'll just be doing the sound design stuff. So unfortunately, because it took a while to get to the sound design stuff, and because I'm obviously explaining a lot more, unfortunately I'm probably going to have to save the real world recording stuff for the next stream, which honestly will probably end up being like tomorrow or Friday or something like that, because we really want to get in all of this stuff. So I may try to do like a quick stream tomorrow depending on schedules, which will be the real world stuff. So definitely, if you're interested, tune into that. But I think we'll probably be finishing this up with the synth stuff first. So actually, let's see what this sounds like, a bit higher up. This is a little crazy. So let's see. Let's kind of turn down the metal effect just a bit. Put a little reverb. What I want to do is like pitch it up a little bit, because the filter does like that kind of sweeping effect, but I really want to kind of like pitch it up actually a bit. And I wonder if I can get away with doing it like this, which is one of the things I actually was going to do with the other sound, but let's see if we can really get like a decent, so that you can hear the two different tones. What I really want to do is make it more of like a grace note, where you don't really hear the first note, you just kind of hear like the ramp up. See, that one you still kind of hear it. And I think it's because the attack on this is like pretty quick. Yeah, so that you get a little bit more that way. Let's see if I make it a little more extreme. Can I do it like a little bit? Yeah. So you see, you get a little bit of that like grace note. Like you don't really hear two different tones, but you hear a little bit of that like kind of ramp. You hear a little hint of the first one. Seems a little low now. Let's fix that. Which kind of gives it that dissonance too, of something that's just like kind of powering on just a bit. So let's see. So one thing I want to do actually is turn up the release a little bit. I don't know how much I'll need to do this, but whoops, we went out of. So shorten it a bit. That actually sounds, that has a weird like cutoff now, which I was trying to avoid. So, oh damn it, there we go. So let's actually try turning the release up some more with the shorter one here. Oh. Yeah. It was actually the release of the envelope that was causing that weird sound at the end. Okay. So that's our good little kind of impact. So, because I don't really want to have like a constant resonance for when a beam is on so much, but you want this little kind of indicator that like something happened in a certain place. So you'll hear like the little sounds popping up when something turns on, and maybe there'll be something for it turning off. We'll have to see. But let's render this now, if I can remember where that is. So this is going to be the beam on, and we're doing our time selection still, and doing mono. So you see, we get this like little waveform. What I'm actually going to be doing, like to clean, I'm actually going to have to like go back through these and kind of clean them up. Because like this is like, I'm not going to just be playing that sound. That's where you get a lot of like, anytime you hear stuff that's like super delayed or like things come in weird, it's usually because the sound asset that you get has not been like cleaned up. You really need to get in there and tweak a lot of stuff. So so let's see. So here's probably the most interesting one actually. What we need is kind of like a portal sound for when you get teleported from not only the normal portals, but from these little trigger zones. And so we're just going to remove this here. We'll get a little bit of one here, and then there are a bunch of options for ways that we can start this. I think the what is it called? Electric bubbles, I think was the most interesting one. Can I no, I had it. Electric bubbles. These are not in alphabetical order, unfortunately. Yeah. So so what we want to do is make this into kind of thing that if you let's say you jump down through the bottom of a level and you end up back at the top. So we want this little like you've been teleported kind of sound. And so our release is pretty high for this. I think we can. Let's see. So we have a reverb and the metal thing on here. The metal doesn't seem to be doing too much. Seems like all the rest is in the real sound. Reverb is doing a lot more than the metal effect, as we can tell. But I do want to have some reverb in there, but I want to not have it be too obvious, you know? Because there actually is there are reverb zones in Unity, and we are going to be using them for a lot of the sounds. And if you bake in reverb to your sounds, then like if you shut them, if you like turn a sound off, it'll clip it, and it makes all of your sound assets like a lot longer, which can be a problem if you're running under memory constraints. So if you ever can, it's best to actually run a live reverb so that you don't need reverb on your sounds. And like for instance, this may even work. And if we have a reverb playing in the game itself, then it will really smoothly kind of blend all of these things together, and it'll give a little reverb tail to each sound, so that we can use a really quick sound, and it will sound natural as if it's in a space when we actually go to play it in the game. Let's see. I think this is actually like a little too long. What is oh yeah, like a fully like kind of MIDI controller. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good for music. Yeah, just like music making tools. It's definitely much more for that. I always just end up kind of going with a single note and trying to, make a sound around it, than trying to like play live notes, So let's see. Delay. The interesting thing about this one too is that this can actually be a stereo sound. We don't need to necessarily play this in a single place. We can actually play this as just like a more of a UI sound to kind of indicate like, oh, you've been teleported somewhere. Even though you may not necessarily know where. It depends if we want to really through audio indicate where you were teleported. So why is this? There we go. Let's turn this release down a bit. So yeah, I think that if we just go with this and then add our reverb in later to give it a little bit of a tail, I think that this will be like just a quick kind of indicator that you've been teleported somewhere. So let's just render this out real quick. No, not that. Don't do that. So this is trigger port. That looks good. Close this. But just to show you some of the other things, so there's also, let's see, grind sweep. So to give you some idea of, no, not that one. Where's grinder? That's not right. Gate sequence, grind sweep. So this is another one that, like, we would probably actually turn this up. Yeah, see? So it's more of just like that kind of semi-metallic-y, synthetic, like zap kind of thing. And so this one, if we turn off the reverb, I'm sure it's going to be, yeah. So let's turn up the metal, and let's get a little bit of a filter delay on here. Play around a bit. Yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah. You can tell it's like a little different each time because all of this stuff is actually like updating, even though I'm running through the same exact section of this track. The controllers for all of the filters and all that stuff kind of actually run in real time, independent of that. So like that is the most accurate one, is like actually completely stopping and going from the very beginning of this, and that will be the same every time because I'm resetting it. And so let's bounce this out really quick as a secondary option for that. And let's see. So now let's check out another like slightly more resonant one, and we're gonna go for the Metallic Dreams. I think it's called in here somewhere. Metal guitar. It's in here somewhere. There it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn off that delay, because it's really just messing around in there, and we don't need that. Turn the reverb off? Yeah. And let's give this a little bit of a resonance. Okay. Let's try this from the beginning. So that little initial slides a little bit too much. Let's play around here. Okay. Whoops, that was a little too intense. That was a little crazy. Okay, so really want to get rid of that like initial weirdness. Let's see, sort of sine wave. We haven't actually tried messing around with the waves here. which we should probably do. Yeah. So if we shorten this a bit, make this like a little bit more of a ramp in. Turn it up a bit. Okay, so that could be like our little spawning a platform. Let's see, so platform spawn. And then there's our little wave file, and we are going to play around with that in a moment. Let's see, so let's look at, oh yeah, so Distant Thunder was another one that I wanted to check out as a thing that is like just background. As you can see, like that, it's kind of like this really metallic kind of random thing that could be coming from anywhere, like a piece of an engine or something like that. This little Distant Thunder is even more kind of like in the background. Let's see. Oh, dirty clicks. Rumbled gates, that sounds interesting too. Ran away on me, Distant Thunder. I'm sure it's like in here somewhere. Let's just go back to this. Distort. Disharmonica. Distant Thunder. Here we go. It's like it's kind of just a pulse there, but if we... So, it should be the reason that we get that like initial little hump here is that this decay is a little bit above the attack. Turn this up. Yeah, that's kind of going for like, you know, for a more creepy vibe to it, right? It's a little too intense. So it seems like tell that we're not really, we don't, this one kind of doesn't change based on what note we hit. It's just kind of making this noise. So this is the pink noise generator. So if let's change that. So yeah, we don't get any real difference there. Then if we do sine wave, you get more of like that rounded kind of gentle type of sound, right? Or saw wave, it's gonna kind of be a little bit in between. It's got a little sharpness to it. I mean that like literally in the sense that it is really just a jagged edge wave. Ramp's a little goofy. Triangle is just totally, it's very alien, right? Pulse is a little more like squared off. White noise is just, you know. So you can tell white noise and pink noise, very, very similar. It is all just random. It is noise in the pure sense that it is random. The difference between white noise and pink noise is basically just the frequency response. Whereas white noise is every frequency at the exact same volume, the exact same. Yeah, so it's all the same like amplitude basically. What pink noise does is it actually the volume lowers the higher the frequency. It's what the way that it is described as equal power per octave, and because higher frequencies have a greater power, as the frequency goes up it actually turns the volume down, and that's why pink noise is a lot gentler. It doesn't have a lot of those really harsh like high ends. Okay, so we get very the sound and harmonies and the creepy stuff finally happens. It's deep and probably low. I might kind of know what you're talking about, but we're just gonna call this miss because I really just, like, as I was listening to a bunch of sounds, I like the way that came out. But let's see. I don't know what pasta sweep is. So if we go, yeah, we can go for like a lower thing here. If we really go kind of deep in here, that sounds like a like an insect alien, you know, or something like that. That's what I would use that for. Or put that in, I would do it as like a little, you know, an insect-like alien. That's something to be how they would talk. So this is kind of like more on what I would use for music, you know. You get like, this is a good kind of, would be a good base for putting some melody over this or something like that. It's quite resonant. Yeah. Yep. Definitely got a thriller vibe. Yeah, so this would be one that we would that we could shrink down a bit. And then maybe make a little release on it. another kind of clippy one, you know? Let's see. This one has a resonance that I kind of want to use. It's very light though. There we go. Might be closer to what you're talking about with the low noise, you know. Yeah, so let's see what else we got. A falling turret, drill turret. Okay, so I'm just gonna bounce this out as another miscellaneous one, and let's run through some of our more real life sounds. So we can just close this down and get some SoundForge going on. So this is actually a trial that I'm running right now of this. Let's see, I don't know why audio. Okay. So let's see, what is our first? So falling turret is like the metal latch and rattle. So let's see, we got. So here's some of the, oh, it's auto playing, that's annoying. Stop playing that. Okay, so metal latch, we can, and then some rattling. So what we really want to do with that is actually use both of these guys right here, and we're going to use the rattle. So I don't want that first thing. Maybe I do, but let's see what it sounds like if I just do a little process and fade in a little bit on that. And we can see what it looks like in game. Let's look at it real quick. Oh, I don't know where it is though. It's somewhere in the GDC demo. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it real fast to get a good idea of where it is. It should be a longish over here. That's not it. It should be the one before this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah, would it be like the fake jump scare, you know, where like the friend is just like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" Or just like, you know, shakes on the door. Let's see. So here's our start point. Let's set that real quick, and can actually see what this game looks like with background art, which I think we haven't really shown, except for, of course, this section, which is missing inexplicitly. Oh man, I really didn't think I was gonna make that. Okay, so right here, yeah. So I have a little rattle, and then it falls down onto us. So if I just die right here, we can see that again. Whoops, that was bad. Okay. Here we go. So we got like got a couple seconds of shaking, falls down, and then kind of grinds into the into here. So you can see like the initial. I'm not so sure that we need this initial kind of bang, because it's not like we don't want it to be so impactful. We want it to be kind of subtle, but maybe I could actually, whoops, that's not right. Maybe I could actually, I have different key commands that I use for everything. Let's just ramp this in a bit. That was not what I wanted to do either. Okay. Let's ramp this in a bit so that it, let's do a little bit more. So I want it to be, I want to have a little bit of that effect, but yeah, so it's not kind of impact. It's like it's a little bit ramped in, but let's try a little bit more. I'm not convinced. Fade in. And then what we do is we grab this guy right here, and let's put him in, kind of just drag it into here. So some resistance, source contains more channels than Destiny. Oh yeah, that's true. So we can fix that real quick. I can actually save this sound as Metal Latch 01, but save it as 44.1 16 mono. Yes, overwrite that, and now I can fix that. Still tell me that I don't know what the hell. Source number is lower than destination. So what the hell is this as? It should tell me, but it doesn't. I guess. Weird. Okay, but that's fine. Let's just see what happens. Honestly. So that's our last one. Actually, we need more of this tail here. So let's see, yes, and then this kind of takes over a bit. Yes, but let's turn it down a bit. So the metal latch is a bit too much. Let's go by like that. That's a little bit more reasonable. We need to kind of actually, maybe we should do it beforehand, is add a little bit of a reverb to this. Let me see if I have, this is kind of a new, yeah, I got a little reverb. That's not bad. So we do that. See, we extended our sound a bit, and then we toss it right into here. So yes, this again. We'll turn it down. And hopefully... I think positioning it is gonna be... Let's try it there. This really, I should kind of be doing this back in Reaper, but... Alright, so... So then we got like the breaking off part of it. And actually, I don't know, we may have to use a separate sound that we get later as like the real... yeah, let's try, so we'll do this one. Then we need a whoosh, right? So for it falling, that'll be a separate one. And then when we get to the point of kind of just falls, and then once we crunch in, I think we'll probably grab a little bit of this. And do a little bit of... So make this its own little separate piece, because what I want to do is we'll do a little bit of a fade in here, process and fade in, and do a lot of bit of a fade out here. And so that can be, yeah, so grab this, and then we put this in here, and we'll mix it in probably about the same amount. That's a little loud, but so is that. Oh, okay. That is Chris with his stage. Okay, so then we'll have a little like digging into there. We need to get like a whoosh sound, and I guess we can try to just grab it real quick since it's not a thing I'm going to be recording at the moment. Unfortunately, that's the price you pay with. That's a weird one. What's going on there? Some weird shit in here. I don't even know what's going on with that. Let's do that. What? Oh, nice, yeah. Yep. It's not quite what we need. What's this craziness? No, what the hell? That's a little too electronic. This is a horror whoosh? Yeah, it is. It's a very cartoony one. No, I don't know why this is so difficult. That one, like, almost might work, but it's a little too high pitched, which we could turn down. Like seriously, at this point, probably could have just recorded it with the pitch down, but let's see what we can get out of something that sounds like super high pitch like that. Log in to this thing. Show in folder and then do that. So one of probably the most common sound design trick of all time is changing the pitch of a thing. This has a bend, but not a not just like a simple transpose. Alright, so then if we change this to be like, see, that makes it much more along the lines that we want, which is like, so that's 2 octaves down. I think that we'll toss this in for now. So here is our sound here, and so right in between, right in these two, so let's see. So really our section is actually it needs to be a lot closer to this. Still needs to be a lot closer. So basically, like right when we get this latch sound, we get a quick like boom down, and then probably, and this we need to bring in a bit. Actually, what we should do is kind of just grab the rest of this and move it over. I don't know how long we'll really need. Let's say it's about there. Grab this and then just kind of, whoop, hey you. There we go. Do this. Okay. So then we're just going to normalize this. If we can. That's got to be a thing. There we go. I usually put it like a little bit down from the maximum that you can do. So we have like our, set like normal volume. And we just do a little fade out on here. Fade out. Okay. So then we're going to save this as here and turret fall. Okay, so let's go through the synthesized sounds and just trim those up because I really need to normalize those like I just did with that one, and also get them all where I need them. So here's our beam on. Let's just make this so it's pretty low. So let's just normalize it quick fast. So it's a lot louder, obviously. We want to trim the beginning here so that we can just play it right away. We really don't have that delay. And then, yeah, that's low enough, but I always like to just fade everything out just to make sure there's nothing left of that sound. So here's our little drop plat, and what I'm going to do is you can just do a quick like Control C and Control E. Control C will copy it, and Control E just makes a new sound out of whatever you've copied. So it's a really quick way to just grab a piece out of a sound. And I guess I should have normalized. Let's just do that real quick. I'm going to normalize it before I go cutting pieces out of it, just so they're all pretty consistent. Okay, so now that we have that, we can go in here, really trim this to its limits, and so I'm not even going to bother with that. And save this, and I guess we'll do, so this is drop plat 01, and do this, trim it back, trim this here, and this is drop plat 02. Just do this for all of these, and then we can move on. There we go, drop plat 03. And we have most of a scale. We have 7 in here total. Whoops, I keep doing that. I really need to set my shortcuts in here, because I use Control R to delete or remove stuff. So apparently the default for that is to record stuff in SoundForge, so gotta be aware of that. This one doesn't quite have the same tail, so I'm gonna actually do a for reals fade out on it. And that's number 5, so we are so close to done with this part. Okay. Damn it, I did it again. So many almost records. Let's just fade this whole little guy out right here and not even worry about it. And 6. And last one here. Is, yeah, I should give that a fade out too. I don't trust it. And 07. Yeah, no, we're not going to say that. Okay, so there's all of our drop plat scale stuffs. This we just kind of made randomly for something we will find out, I suppose. Oh, it cuts off strangely. I don't know why it does that. We're just going to fade it out so that it's less abrupt. That's a lot better. And what else? We have this other random one. And let's normalize that. Also cuts off weirdly. I guess I just didn't leave enough of enough space at the end of these to have it naturally decay. But we don't want too long of a tail on these, so platform spawn. Damn it! Stop hitting Control R. So we're gonna normalize that. Need all of my key commands because I usually have normalize set to a thing as well. And let's trim that down. Okay. Your port. It's pretty close to normalized, but let's just bring it back up. And I'm just going to do a pretty long fade on here because I just want it to be... I don't want you to really notice the fart. Does that sound like a fart? A space fart? So this is our other option for the trigger teleport. Normalize that little guy. It's a little bit of harsher sound, which makes me believe that it may not be the right thing to do for that, but I think with a little bit of a reverb in there, that could be good too. Yeah, so this is our... It's weird. Yeah, let's with that. Actually, let's just do a full-on fade out of that. Yeah, so the problem is that so this whole thing, I'm debating, it already has a little bit of a reverb on it, so I don't want to overdo it, and we may add some in, like in the game, there's going to be some, so I don't want to do too much, but, you know. If we do like a, this one might need more reverb than the other sounds, so it's actually pretty, it's lighter than I thought it would be for a cavernous space, so turn the reverb up. Let's make their room size enormous and turn loudness up. So that's a little bit more cavernous. Don't want to do too much of the mix, but I do. Let's see. I think liveliness should be basically how bright it is. That's a lot of brightness to it. This should have less. No, it seems to be, that's actually the, just the time. So I don't know what, I guess room size probably determines pre-delay? Because then if we turn this all the way down, yeah, so you can see we still have a really long reverb that goes on. But I think that it's mostly the okay, so we're also clipping there. Yeah, it's only by a little bit, but it's enough that I'd rather not do that. There we go. Just turn it down just enough. But I actually want to make it too crazy, like I said. See what we can get away with that. Like, still sounds big enough, but it's not overbearing. So yeah, I do want to cover up the Okay. So that would be good for this. And let's see. So we have a couple more that we're gonna do. I'm gonna say on the next stream, which is the sideways drill turret. I'll show you that real quick. If we start on this level, start locations and then set start point. So this one, the first one that I showed you has the turret falling down, and it kind of like rattles around and then falls down. This one is very different because first of all it is sideways, and the other reason that it is different is because this just kind of comes out at you out of nowhere, and you can't even really see it because that should be a little better. Ooh. Is loading scene file? That was weird. So you can kind of see it as you're right here, and it's obviously very menacing. So you got to hit the button, and then it comes after you. So instead of like a shaky kind of, you know, disconnecting thing, this thing is actually kind of just like straight up, you know, gunning for you, for lack of a better term. I don't know why it's still why this is turned off, or why it's not turned off. This is still spinning when it shouldn't be. That's weird. But we'll figure that out later. So you have to really, whoop. So it just barely grazed my head. So this is going to be more of a, you know, like really, what I'm thinking that narratively will happen here is that there's like some kind of magnet on one end or something that's really like propelling it. I don't. It seemed like AJ assumed that there was like a rocket that was kind of propelling it. But I think it should be more of something is kind of pulling it from the other end rather than it is propelling itself. So I think we'll probably do something like a, you know, some kind of like metallic magnetic sound of like it kind of wow, you know, like getting pulled across or something like that. But unfortunately that will have to be next stream because it is only getting later and I actually do have to work tomorrow. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and thanks to our new followers, and if you have not followed already you should do so. We're going to be doing like one more quick sound design stream to finish up the sounds that we didn't get to tonight, and probably I'm sure there are more features that have to go in that we want to get in, but maybe depending on how tomorrow goes, may make it into the GDC build and may not. Because one of Chris's levels has platforms. Is this it? No. One of his levels has, yeah, this is the one. So we start here real quick. Start locations, and set start point. We actually have these foreground beams that, you know, that are kind of covering you. So in order to make those a little bit more to make this so we don't want you to get into a point where you completely can obscure your character, we're gonna actually make these semi-transparent when you go into there. You don't use the follow feature? I mean, yeah, that's fair. Is it because of the emails or something like that? It's I'm curious, but I guess if you use any kind of thing like Twitter, you know, we can update for when we are streaming and that kind of stuff. But yeah, any way that you would like to be informed of when streams are going, other than us like straight up having a for real schedule, which maybe one day we will have. Maybe that'll be our first post GDC goal, is to have a real schedule. But barring that, I'm sure we will be all over the tweeters and all the other stuff for when we are streaming. So thanks everybody for hanging out again. Thank you to the followers, and for anybody who follows after this stream goes, after we end the stream, you will be shouted out at the beginning of next stream when Mike's head explodes and the text calls you out. So thank you. Stay informed of future streams. We are archiving everything on YouTube, and I think the link is, in the description down below. Yeah, there you go. There's a big YouTube link down below to check out our past streams, which I am one by one slowly getting all of our previous streams up on. So check that out for when we aren't streaming, and for when we are, come back here. We will let you know in any way you wish to be informed. So thanks again, and everybody have a good night. Peace.